There we go. Hello, friends. Hopefully you can hear me. I got a new microphone. Hopefully I sound better. I'm here today with my friend Empress Trash, and we're going to make some stuff and talk about some stuff. And we're just getting our technical issues sorted out, and we'll get her in here soon enough. Yeah, lots of new stuff came out this week, so we'll have lots to talk about. And yeah, today will probably be pretty silly and fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So let me fight with OBS for a little bit and try to get all the stuff routed. I see you now, Empress. Hello. Yes, I'm going to make sure that they can hear you, because I don't think they can hear you yet. There we go.
Can I blur my background in Discord?
Can you what? Blur it?
Yeah.
I think so. If you restart your camera, you should be able to blur it as an option when you turn it on.
Let me see here. Turn off. No. Oh, change video background. There we go.
Nice.
I have all my. I haven't finished unpacking from Paris yet, and that's literally just all my stuff on the table.
I feel that. All right, let's get you on the screen so people can see ya. Yes, and guest is in Discord. Delete. Window capture. Discord. That's odd. Window capture. There you are. And we squish you down to a face.
I am a face.
A face.
I'm a face.
All right. Here we are. Now, I know who you are, but why don't you tell these people who you are, and so that I don't put words in your mouth.
I am Empress Trash. I also have a cold right now, so pardon my little nasally and possibly coughing that's gonna happen. But yeah, I am an artist. I'm a lifelong artist. I studied painting, drawing, and animation at the University of Iowa. I have been doing crypto art for like 3 years now, but I've been doing digital art for a long ass time, since I was like 13 when I got my first computer, and I'm 40 now, so that's math, 27 years, I think. So yeah, and I mean I do a lot of glitch art is a lot of what I do for my digital work, but I also do like photography, and because of all the wonderful things that you've taught me with AI, I am now known as like an AI artist too, and I've been doing that for like 2 years, I think. Has it been that long? I think it has. So, and my art has been in all of the fancy places, and I just got back from Paris where I had a solo show. So I'm super fancy.
The fanciest.
I'm the fanciest. I'm an empress, so I'm the fanciest.
Damn right. None fancier. And congratulations on your recent and constant success. It's amazing. We love watching.
Thank you.
Right on.
I have nothing else to do, so that's it.
Plus, it's fun.
It's fun. I mean, it's everything. It's life. So art is life. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk about some stuff today in regards to AI art, because you're one of the artists that is able to use AI and still maintain your identity as an artist. Yeah. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts or advice on how other artists can not get lost in what's sort of, because with AI you can be anybody, right? It's really easy to just say, oh, this I want to just adopt this art style, but like what are some ways that you maintain your identity through through art, AI art tools and stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, even with AI, like my style changes. So, I wrote an essay about this and I did a workshop on this too, about sculpting digital identity. So, I think a big thing is instead of focusing in on trying to have a consistent style, more thinking about a broader and like a brand, like I'm an artist, I don't like the word brand. Thinking about a broader picture of what makes your identity as an artist. So like what are some themes or overarching threads that like really tie who and what you do in your work together. And I think with me, like I have always like have most of my art is like to help cope with like some of my mental issues. And it's always been like that's why I started doing art as a little kid was like kind of like an escape and like to create like different realities for myself because I had like a really shitty childhood and like art was like the constant for me. Like it was the safe space for me. And then even in that, like I've always done like drawing and painting, like I still always am exploring like different styles and stuff. But the themes that come up a lot for me are like about being a woman. I also like a certain color palette. Like I like saturated colors. And I really like expressive things. Like I like it to be emotive in some way. And so like I think like how all of that manifests is different depending on what tools I'm using, whether it's from like oil painting to using any digital tools to using like different AI. Not gonna cough in the mic, spare you guys, love that. So um when like the more I mean, and I think this is something when you're just an artist, it's like you should be exploring different styles and you should be exploring like pushing visual boundaries for yourself. And like with AI, we can just do it like so much faster and cooler in a lot of ways. And like we can mix like so many different like visual languages together in an instant. And so I think it's really the other part of it is like narrative. So like I talk about my life journey, I talk about like my education, I talk about my inspirations a lot, and I talk about like contextualizing and conceptualize like the concept around like when I put together like a whole series of work. I think it helped like all of that comes together where it's like people know my work when they know me and like they see it and they feel me coming across. There isn't like a formulaic way to really do that. It's a lot of self-exploration. I mean, like I mean, like how much in my life that I've spent in like therapy, along with like doing crazy things, like going to the desert and doing a bunch of hallucinogens for a long time, and like all this different stuff. Like all of these different aspects create me as an identity, and then I'm thinking about how I translate that into a digital space. And I'm also just thinking about like when I'm creating work, like how that like what it is I want to say and like how can I use the tools that I have. And like sometimes my work is really serious and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just super fun. Like I really love using Procreate too, and drawing because I have the painting background. And I use Photomosh a lot with AI, which I know we wanted to talk about that too, which it's like I've honed in like certain styles on Photomosh. So it's like no matter what I do in AI, if I bring it into Photomosh, it's gonna have that like certain quality to it because I've done a lot of experimenting and stuff in there where it's kind of that finishing touch where it gives a sense of cohesiveness. And on that too, like when I create work that is like I feel really outside of like what is normal, I'll either like because I'm a professional artist like with crypto, so it's like either I just won't release it or I like release it as like a separate collection and contextualize it, or I even create like alts, like alternative identities, because I'm like, well, it just does not fit under Empress Trash. So there's so many different ways to like have your cake and eat it too with it, where it's like I can like experiment and explore and not feel pigeonholed, but then at the same time like build consistency. And I think that consistency is with my identity that I present, which I'm still also always exploring. Like that's not, and then also on that too, like when you contextualize, like a brand is really hard. Like brand is like certain color palette, certain fonts, one logo, or a couple different logos. Like that's brand. But like identity, that already lends to like a sense of exploration and like, hey, what does it mean to be Empress Trash? Like I'm constantly thinking that, like I mean, being like when I just went to Paris, me and my friend Rob and Brain Pasta, both amazing artists in their own right and both very diverse in their own right too. Um, we went to the Louvre and it was just like I was seeing all this stuff about like, Napoleon's wife, the Empress, I can't remember her name right now. Justintina. No, that was a different Empress. I don't know that Napoleon's Empress, and I like everything. I was like, oh, this is my crown. This is my painting, and like it started off joking, but then I'm like, wait, but how? If I took more of this like high royal stuff into like my identity, what would that do? And like, how does that further like the idea of Empress Trash? So, um, that's a really long ramble about all that. I don't know.
No, that's great. That's exactly what I was quite asking about. No, and yeah, no, I don't know. I think your identity is very strong. I think a lot of people could learn a lot about how to, you know, how to position themselves as as a person, as an artist, as a cohesive unit of creation. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like in
really interesting to get your thoughts on.
the digital space, we can be whatever we want to be. We don't have to be like what we're born into and like what other people tell us we're supposed to be. I just decided one day I was an empress, and then now years later, like people are treating me like that. So like, it's kind of the beauty of like digital life, like for real. Like we can literally just like it's like and we can like one thing I wrote about too and like my essay about it is like we can create multiples of these identities and figure out which one like fits into our like what brings us joy most and then kill the rest. Like we don't have to hold on to any one identity, you
Yeah,
know? Um and yeah, I mean that's like the freedom we have here. In real life, I wasn't born into being like an empress. Like at all. Like I was trash. I was born trash. That's the trash part of my name. But yeah,
but it's a way of
like
reclaiming it and making it your own
yeah,
and
and elevating
having
it
having domain over it.
and questioning power structures. That's the other
Hmm.
part. Like if I can just call myself an empress, what does that mean for
Yeah,
people who, you know, do that type of like the people we give that power to? It's like, well, what if I take that power? Like that's a lot of like what I'm thinking about when it comes to that. And I'm not even a performance artist, but there is a performative aspect to it, especially online, because that's where it's like, you know, that's where she was made was like kind of in like in this like ether, like not like not one. Well, actually, the first time she came out, I did a painting in college because we had to do a self-portrait and I hate self-portraits. And I did one where it was like me with like a cardboard crown, and then I had a scepter that was just a paper towel tube, wearing like a towel as a cape and like just a t-shirt, and very obviously like, just like tongue in cheek, but I made it like a royal portrait, like really finely rendered oil painting. And like that was like the first time she kind of came out, but it's like that's still like that's not necessarily me dressing up like that. It's me like creating that image. So, but it's not to say I wouldn't become, wear something like that in the future. Like as I develop more and more what she is and go out in real life more.
Right on. We have to start shopping for cardboard tiaras.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
just make but hot
well,
glue
that
some
that
rhinestone.
that leads me into like uh, uh, Emergent Properties and like what you've been doing with them and how
Yeah,
like because and we've talked about this at length, but a lot of these tools that I teach, the ComfyUI and stuff like that, they're pretty dense, right? They're cool, but they're dense, and it's not necessarily what everyone wants to do is get in there and tinker with every possible function, right? Sometimes you just want the things you need exposed to you, and I think Emergent Properties does a really good job of that, of letting artists like do the hard nerdy stuff, but also do it in a way where you're actually generating pieces every time that are like that are like cool and it's
yeah,
not anyway. So yeah, I'll let you talk about Emergent Properties and what they're up to, and if you want to share screen you can show everybody how you use it and stuff like that.
yeah.
I can pull that up.
I'm cited right now.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, just share your
Um,
screen on Discord and I'll
yeah.
switch you over. But yeah, Emergent
Your
Properties,
screen.
it's like was on-chain AI generation, so you can basically do all of your work. How do I get you and your? Let's try to get your face and your thing up here. One sec. Got to do some OBS fun here. All right,
Oh,
you.
yes, fun.
So let's bring this up big. So yeah, that's your new project, Sharp Objects, which everybody should check out.
Can you see when I switch screens?
Yeah.
Okay,
All
I'm
right.
still
Let's
signing
make
in.
this
Oh,
nice and
sorry, I
big
like
so you
cocked
can
the
see it.
mic.
All right,
Um,
let's move this down, and I'll
so
try to get your face back on before we get
no,
kicking
let me know
here.
when you're ready.
Yeah, we'll do. There we go. There's your window, and hopefully, let's get your face too. Why not? We have the technology.
We have the technology.
Apologies to everybody watching. You just have to wait. I think some of these things take time. They wouldn't if I
So,
had this all set up beforehand, but I didn't. So here we are.
and I didn't either. I
All
didn't.
right.
You're gonna see
I
my
think we're here.
Twitter,
So I'm gonna hide my head because we don't need me for this.
but we love your head.
That's okay. There's more room for your head. All right. So yeah, this is Emergent Properties, and this is Empress Trash, and I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah. So here's like the storefront aspect of it. So essentially emergent properties, like the biggest part about it that is like super innovative within like crypto and AI is that I can create collections and I as an artist, so when I say I'm talking about artists in general, that when you go to mint it, it like generates the image when the person decides to mint it instead of like like me minting a whole bunch and then curing it down and then uploading it and like deciding the images. So there's like this like it's called long form generative art, which is like, like most people know long form generative within the context of like code art, but this is specific to like blending with AI. So the back end of it is, and I'm trying to be really careful because this collection here has nudity in it. And I know nudity is not allowed, so I'm trying to be like super careful. I would like scroll down and show more of the collection, but there's boobies. Um
I think people understand that this is fine art, and it'll be okay. So if you see a booby, please don't report us. We're just doing art
yeah,
here.
yeah, it's these are all based off of, so like, just to talk more on this too, is like overall, like, so instead of me, it starts pushing against like, when is art? Like, when is AI art? Because there is like this huge debate that we all know of, like, well, when does AI art become art? Like, do you have to retouch it? Do you have to like, is it when it's incorporated into something else? Like, so many people put like so many different things on like when it is. And like with this, it's like, it's art when I say it's art, first of all. And I'm also saying it's art when upon generation, like curation doesn't necessarily make it more art. Um, and all the curation really is on the back end when it comes to like creating the prompts and variables that are within it. And so this starts pushing me to be more conceptual with what I'm doing in these series, like I was talking about. And this is like mixing. So I studied Artemisia Gentileschi a lot when I was a painter, and it's mixing her style with my style of like more saturated colors and everything. And then also I gave all the women knives, because Gentileschi used knives a lot in her art. As like her most famous piece is like Judas slaying Holofernes, which I can pull that up really quick. Um, like, kind of grotesque, but I mean, this is classical art. But it's like, this is her most famous piece, which it's like, for anyone who knows like her backstory, it's like she was like, born into like a pretty good family, but she was a victim of sexual assault pretty young. And her a lot of her paintings reflect that. And she was like a Renaissance painter during the Renaissance, but like we all know how women were treated with art back then. And it's like she didn't really come to the forefront until later, when people were like hundreds of years later, when people were like, hey, we know there were women doing art, and like kind of brought her to the forefront again. So a lot of women artists end up studying her because she's one of the few examples from the Renaissance that like we know that is like around. So yeah. But then I also come at it because like the Britney Spears knife dance stuff. So there's a lot of heady conceptual things going on with this, because it's like the AI, what I did with it is like, um how do I explain this? It's like it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting visually for me, so I can start really diving deep into like, well, what does art mean? Like all of my training like in art, and I'm using AI now, and I can literally just generate these images like this of stuff I spent years studying. Like, I'm not like saying it's good or bad either way. It's more just exploring that as a topic for me, because it's like, I mean, a lot of people talk about this and demonize it, which I'm not a fan of. And there's also like the element of like women's bodies are not a lot of times like in AI, because of like the models that are being pulled off of, are not depicted very realistically. Like they're very anime, like not anything against anime. I love anime, don't get me wrong. But they're very just certain perfection for the male gaze, which
Yeah, I was just gonna say
that
it's
has
all
its,
pointed right towards that
yeah,
male gaze.
yeah, which is fine. Like the male can have their gaze, but there's also more reality, which these aren't even hyper realistic. It's just they're still kind of caricatures. They're very expressive, but more so pushing into like, women have mass and expression and all of that. So really leaning into that. So here's the back end of MProps. So this is like the storefront. So when if you go into it, like this is open studio, and then you sign in, they're waitlisted or token gated right now. Like you have to buy an NFT to be able to use it, because there's still an early beta. There's only 3 people on their team. So like be very kind to them is what I always say.
And they're
But
scaling
this,
a massive system that, like,
yeah, yeah,
doing these generations is, it's a lot of work on
it
their
is.
back end. So it's amazing what they've done, really, just from a nerd point of
It
view.
is, and I worked really closely with him on this on this sharp objects. Like previous ones, I just kind of was doing whatever, but this one, like if we zoom in, can I zoom in on this? Yeah, like I was working with them on the upscaler, so that's the benefit of like when you're really early to this is you can work with them on the technology. I don't know how far I can zoom in. It's not gonna let me zoom in. Oh, here we go. Um, I probably have to download it to really zoom in. I'll do that in a minute. But like we worked on the upscaler to really get like the brush strokes in there. So when you zoom in, it doesn't look like AI artifacting. It actually looks like brush strokes, which I'll show in a little bit. I just don't want to like, again dig through the folder and like 'cause it's a lot of nude women. Um, so yeah, here the back end. So essentially what you do is like there's like the sketchbook portion, which is this is where like all the like heavy lifting goes in. You have a flat file where you could like save, ignore these naked women, save the like different images because a lot of what I do to get consistency is do image to image. This is the collection part, so you can like manage your collections. This gets into like crypto, like which crypto chain you're doing. And then settings, this is where it's like, oh, you where it checks like your wallets and if you have your token to be able to access certain features, and they're rolling out more and more credit, like a credit system because they have, all their computational things and they're trying to be transparent and make it where at least it's a sustainable business model. Obviously they want to get paid too, but so the credit system I'm not too angry about, like or like annoyed with, even though like I do have like locally installed stable diffusion and everything. I just like they're being more transparent about it than a lot of things where it's just like, well, this is free, but eventually you're going to want to make money on this. So, and they don't take any portion of like the sales of the actual art. So they're making their money on the end of like credits and stuff instead of like taking a cut from like artist sales, which there's benefits and drawbacks to both. But that's all that. And then documentation, and then going back to open market, which is where we were looking at it. So this Sharp Objects, Moon Worshippers, and Trash Babes are like the three collections that I've done. And all of them, if you open it up, it goes to where you actually build it out. And this one, it was really simple for me. Like this first one I did, I was using SD, like you can choose model here. Oh, they rolled out to I was using SDXL actually, but they rolled out some new stuff. Um, and go through and just tweak things out. This one I kept like super simple, and then what you see here with the brackets is you can actually create variables and so manage, and then I have character string set, and I like put in my variable was just different designers on this, because I used to work in authenticating art and also high-end home goods, and it was with a company that also had like a lot of designer stuff. So I was kind of like going, I love like like designer things. So I was just like incorporating that into this series. Um, and then you can test it and like, I mean, like for anyone who knows Stable Diffusion, this is pretty familiar. It's simplified, but pretty familiar. You can do like image to image where you have a constant or variable. Um, this doesn't matter if I mess this up because I've already published this page. So, um, yeah, and you can do P5JS, which I don't know that well enough. I haven't explored that, but there are other artists who are using that to help like bring more variation and like code based stuff into it.
That's how I
And then
used it.
you use P5?
Yeah, that's how I used my EmProps project was a P5JS script that I made, and then I was dreaming over it in different ways.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
fun. Like I really like their interface. It's really cool, and it's like because
Yeah. And
I'm a generative artist, and like I've been doing a lot of stuff with FX hash and stuff, and
yeah.
like it's that same vibe of generating a thing that makes a good thing every time. That puzzle is so fun.
Yeah,
Like
it
just
is.
and it's so cool to like people can do this kind of stuff without having to have the overhead spending 2 years fighting with ChatGPT, learning in P5,
Yeah,
to like just make some generative art because like generative art is so fun.
it is. It's so much fun. And I actually a lot of what I do, I don't have my Stable Diffusion pulled up right now. But especially with the credit system coming into play, the credits do count now, like on backend generation. So you can see here, like this generate is just to generate previews, which I'll do on this one quick, which they may be different because some of the settings look like they got changed because of updates. But like no, they're pretty consistent actually to what that collection was. But what I do also is I'll go into Stable Diffusion and then like the one I have installed where it's like using all my GPU stuff and I'll like hone in the prompts in there and then I bring it into EmProps and then hone it in with their stuff. And like so I'm saving some like their like the processing on their end, just a little like for anyone who's wanting to use this, but like not eat up all their credits and generation. But yeah, you can see previews here, which like this is already minted out and everything. So this isn't adding to the collection. This is just showing more previews. And Moon Worshippers, it wasn't like that. Moon Worshippers, I just did uh medium form, so it's curated. And that one was talking about Midjourney censorship because they're actually nudes from Midjourney. This may get me banned. I'm waiting for that ban. Um, um,
I think it would have
because
come by now.
when
I think you're fine.
yeah, is there like a statute of limitations on like that? But
Yeah.
when Midjourney was the version 6 first came out, it was like all of a sudden I was getting nude forms. And I was like, well, I'm gonna take these while I can. And I like released like curated collection of that. Again, just talking about like censorship and how women are depicted and all that stuff. So sharp objects here, this is a little bit more robust. I spent a lot of time honing this in. Pers, you helped me with this a lot, but a lot more negative because I was trying to focus in on the human form. And then also like more waiting because I really was trying to get in. And then the big thing is I have image as variable. So, and the upscaler, which I was talking about, which we like honed in on and they like updated. But and the other major variables that I had to add to this was skin tone because I was only getting white women. And if I didn't put that skin tone in, it would have just been all white women.
Yeah.
And emotions is the one that's on the front of the collection because I was wanting to show like how AI is registering the emotions of the women. And then images, which is like I'll scroll through this super fast, but me curating certain images from me, like from stuff that I created, mixing my style with Artemisia's and like so having that set of images as a variable and then like making it where it's 0.99 so it's not looking very much like the image like in pose but it's still pulling the style
Hmm.
heavily with all the prompts is how I finally got like a really consistent style with the human form because that was the hardest part like getting a consistent style is cool getting a consistent style with a certain type of human form was like incredibly difficult and I was like pulling my hair out with that but yeah that's I and what I figured out and this is my little alpha of like how to get more curvy like robust women is putting in negative prompts porn like low key like kind of take some of that porn out
Mm-hmm.
but I still wanted nude, so I didn't like completely be like no porn,
Yeah.
because if I did that, then it wasn't going to generate any nudes. And then also fashion magazine was the key one,
Oh yeah.
because yeah. And once I like those two, when I put those two in negative, it just like changed so much. Like it was like, oh my God. So yeah, for anyone watching who's like, I really love that, form, the human form that you're getting. Those two, man, were, because I was really trying to think about what visual data sets would the AI be pulling from when thinking about the nude female form. And it's like where most in our media is like it depicted kind of skewed.
Yeah.
Um, and both of those are so heavily skewed to a certain depiction of femininity. With fashion mags generally just very anorexic, and then with porn very like, like there's natural bodies in porn, so that's why I kind of like, I didn't completely ban it, like completely be like no porn, but it's like the
It's still not the norm.
it's not the norm. There's a
Yeah.
lot of like hyper like form, like what, like proportions,
Yeah. Yeah.
hyper. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. Where
Yeah.
it's like that looks, and also a lot of plastic surgery. And I
Yeah.
was just trying to get away from that. Nothing
For
wrong with
sure.
plastic surgery. Some women are very beautiful with it. But I was just trying to I wanted sagginess and wrinkles and all of that. So yeah.
It's all in service of the piece. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Plus, I think you were telling me the fashion magazine also removes some of the glossiness, which you're having trouble with as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. I
cool.
couldn't
You
get
get
rid
two
of all the
birds there.
glossiness. Yeah. I couldn't get rid of all of it. Because it's pulling off of old oil paintings, and most photos of old oil paintings have some glossy
That
on it.
sheen, yeah.
Yeah. And so there's no way to like completely remove it, but it did minimize it a lot. So, and I know with like, because was supposed to, well, this is SDXL was what it was generated, and I know in SDXL we're not supposed to do a ton of negative prompting, but I
Oh no,
really
no.
had.
SDXL's very good at negative prompting.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what?
It's actually better than SD15, as far as I understand. Or it's better at removing things that you don't want, so that you can get closer to what you do want.
Yeah, that makes sense. So one thing I'll point out with MProps, if you look at the credit, well, the credit generation here, so two generations cost a lot more credits on this because there's a lot more data. So the credits are being based off of like the amount of like, so I'm doing like image to image, I have these long prompts, I have multiple variables. So that's part of like their credit system. I'm just pointing that out. Where the other one, it was like 2 credits per or something. And this one, it's like almost double. I think I'm still in free credit mode because I was testing so much. So I'll just do that so you can kind of see. And again, sorry if any, it's fine art. It's fine art.
These things happen.
Things happen. But yeah, you can test
I think
it in
some
the
of my
back end.
audience is generating nude women a lot of the time, anyway. So.
um, but you can test in the back end. I worked with EmProps too, where I had them generate like hundreds of images just to do like batch testing, because I was, this was a high profile situation with it being in Paris, and it's also going to, like, this collection is going to tour around a bunch of different places too, probably with Super Cheap Gallery, which shout out to them. Look at these are just fantastic. Every time I'm like, oh my gosh. But here, I'll download this one so you can kind of see. We can zoom in. Like, look at these freaking brush strokes, man. Like, no AI artifacting. Just, it looks like a straight up oil painting.
We only see your Chrome window or Safari window or
Oh, you
whatever.
only see my Chrome window? Oh, let me reshare. Because this, sorry if it screws up your OBS.
Oh, no worries. There we go. Yeah, there. That's nice and zoomed in there.
Yeah. This is like 200 zoomed in, and it's still like, what the hell?
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, sorry, really proud of those brush strokes. That was a lot of work to get those going. So,
Yeah, and
oops.
it's funny how deep you can go with the customization. Like, I know when I'm working on a gen art project, you get into these little rabbit holes where you're just like you're obsessing over the tiniest detail for hours and hours and hours and hours, and
Yes.
then as soon as you think you got that, it opened up 8 more things while you were doing that, and you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
and then you hate the whole project for like a couple hours, and then it starts to dissipate again when an idea starts to coalesce. Yeah, it's really fun. I love
Yeah,
gen art.
and I mean, a huge part of doing this long form generative is letting go of control. So it's like it's like here, this is EmProps front page, which is I'm all zoomed out weird. Reset, which is all, you know, but Super Cheap Gallery, shout out to them. They're the ones who really pushed this all together
Mm-hmm.
and pushed me to like create this. And they're the ones who exhibited it in Paris, and they're gonna take it all over too. And they're like really about like Super Chief is super about overall like like artists who are like pushing boundaries, whether it be thematically or technologically, and they really or yeah, those are the two really, and it's like or visually pushing boundaries, and they learn about emergent properties through me because I've been an artist working with them for a while, and Ed, the founder, called me like a month or two ago and was just like, "Can you introduce me to them? Because I really he's like, I just feel like it's not only like he wants to help bring AI into the context of like fine art more, like he wants to showcase what he views as a very cutting edge way to like um monetize it, I guess, is like the
Yeah.
best way, and like sell it and create it.
Yeah,
And
there's not a
like,
lot of opportunities for AI artists to like make money on their art right now, aside from
no,
crypto. Like, you can make T-shirts and stuff, but there's a lot of people doing that, and a lot of people doing
yeah,
that at such a level that you can't even compete with them unless they're your T-shirts. Um, so yeah, I think it's really good that we have all these more avenues to like not weaponize our creativity so that we can get paid because we gotta
yeah,
get paid. Artists gotta get paid.
yeah. I mean, I'm weaponizing my creativity literally with this one.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, it's like with the knife. Uh, but it is like really, and it's about empowering artists. Like that's the like end of the pool I live in with all of it is like I want I want to be empowered, and I want other people to be empowered to create things that say something meaningful instead of just more stock imagery, and like tell a human story and also be appreciated and loved for it and make money at it. Like that's a real revolution. So that's what I'm about.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
I mean, is there anything more? I mean, I, I mean, I'm not as like you had helped me with some of the technicalities on this, but is there anything else on like the technical end?
No, I think that's
That,
cool. That's basically, I just wanted you to work through how MProps works so people could understand like what you're doing and all the,
yeah,
because like the prompt matrix stuff is really interesting to me. Like you can do that now with Comfy and Automatic with this magic prompting system where you have a variable and then you can have a list of things inside that variable. So
yeah,
like you can
I
do
love
this
the
kind of stuff
variable.
now locally as well. So what you were saying about replicating essentially the setup at home and making a bunch of stuff and finding the vibe and then porting it back over to MProps is like a really cool way to reduce strain on the credit use and reduce strain on
Yeah,
their back end. Because like the
yeah,
back end for image generation for AI is probably one of the most like GPU intensive,
Yeah.
compute intensive things you can do. So it's amazing that they went in hard on the hardest thing you can do as a startup. But it's working out, man. Like I really enjoyed playing with it when I was setting it up, and I've built out 3 or 4 different projects of EmProps, and I had a really good time doing all of them. I only published
Yeah.
one, but yeah, it was just it's just vibey. Like it's got a very creative, interesting setup. Like I don't know, just it looks like a cool tool that you want to use. Reminds me of like an old Macintosh program or something.
Yeah,
It's
it
very
does. It
cool.
has that retro feel to it. It's very approachable for me as a very visual person, and and I can get
The
lost in the
sliders are
weeds.
very slidery.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like the documentation, I will say like they could build out that a little bit more, but it's just you go hop in their Discord and talk to them, really, you
Or other
know?
artists who've played with it usually have great
Yeah,
tips. Yeah. That
yeah.
Discord's cool, by
It's
the way. If you're not out on the EmProps Discord, you should hop over there. It's good.
yeah, you
Um,
should.
a lot
And
of
there's a
cool
lot
AI
of dope
artists.
artists hanging
Yeah.
out over there, and they're really the team is great. I love
Mhm.
them. But yeah, when you want to like publish it, you just like go to publish it. Mine was published a little differently because it's a curated thing and
Yeah.
part of this, all of that. But you can publish on Tezos or Ethereum and like it's dope. It's super easy.
Yeah.
Like standard contract, all of that. But yeah, I love it. And you don't have to publish it either. You can just use it and like download images. You noticed when I refreshed it, like I lost the outputs. They're not there unless I save them. Like
Oh,
that's
okay.
one thing too. Like you have to either save it to the flat file or download it.
Right.
Otherwise, they're just gone to the ether. They're just generated. So
Yeah, they'd be storing so many generations if they kept them,
yeah,
so it makes sense.
yeah,
But yeah, that's cool.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I recommend it. I love it. They are having, I don't know, they're doing something with like an open house situation right now. I can't remember, but it is token gated or you have to be waitlisted for like general use.
Yeah.
But I had bought a token because I took a risk because I saw the potential in it and I was like, I want to give the money, I don't care. And I'm like, I think I can make my money back, and I did. um more than what I spent on it.
Oh yeah.
And now I get, what is it? Because I bought that token, I'm out like I get 2,000 credits a month no matter what. And then I get all the perks of like being a professional now that I have that token. So
Cool.
forever. Like I don't have to ever pay because I bought that. So it's like kind of benefit of fund because they're selling the tokens essentially to fund it. So that's how
Yeah.
like it's like their seed money instead of getting like VC funded and getting all that all up in there involved. Like they're selling like community fundraising essentially. So
Very cool.
yeah, yeah, that's that. I'm
Nice.
gonna,
So
yeah, thanks for letting me talk about it.
oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it was really interesting. So yeah, we could load up Comfy and play with some new stuff, or if you want to take a
Yeah,
break from talking for a little bit. I know you've been talking for a while. Yeah,
yeah.
let's load up Comfy. How do
I
I
can
do
see
that?
your screen. I just can't see your face, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I can't share both screens, but if you, yeah, if you load up the YouTube thing in another window, you can see us delayed in there. But yeah,
I'll
I need to
I'll
figure out how
do
to
it.
share 2 screens on OBS or on Discord. I don't know if that's a thing. Uh, Comfy. All right, and then now to make sure our audience can see Comfy. All right, let's move these around a bit. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Bum, 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 ba-dum.
I'm like looking at these glasses Rob Ness gave me, and I'm realizing like how good they look, like with my headphones and
Mm-hmm.
like my pink. I'm like all pink now.
Extremely coordinated tonight.
Extreme. I did not
Extremely
intend that.
coordinated. It
I
looks
did
great.
not. I did not intend that, but I'm just realizing that because like my face got bigger on my screen, and I'm like, oh hi.
I wish you'd said something. I would have worn a pink shirt.
I wear pink. I mean, I either wear black or pink. So
I'll remember that next time.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about this new workflow that our a friend of mine, I don't know if you've met them before. Do you know Pixel Pusher?
I feel like I know the name.
Yeah, Pixel Pusher's like AI, well, AI now, but motion graphics artist who's been around for a long time. I always shout them out because they make insane stuff, but they just dropped a workflow on Banodoco. Let me pull it up. Oh, I can't pull it up on Discord, so I'll just load it up. Downloads. It's in here somewhere. Is it this one? Yes. Okay. This workflow, you upload a single image
Uh-huh.
and it makes this.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, like for people watching, like I don't know Comfy, and so this is me being like, wow, because I mostly work in Automatic 1111 still because I haven't had time to like sit down and learn Comfy. I'm hoping to soon.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get my total noob, like, oh my gosh, like, what is
I'm going to drop these links in the chat here if anyone else wants to. Yeah, so this workflow is on Banodoco. Oh, those links all came out together in one thing. That's great. Oh, I think it happened again. Terrible. All right, let me do these one by one. I'm the best streamer on YouTube, by the way, people.
You are. It's bona fide.
Is that... Yeah, that's all one thing, too. All right, cool. Let's just drop these links together. YouTube's going to think I'm a robot.
You're going to get banned from
I know, for like
stream.
link pasting. Anyway, here's the links for the model stuff that you need for this workflow, guys. If you want this workflow, it's on Banodoco. It is called four-step LCM something or other. It's by Jeru, Jeru, and that's Pixel Pusher. And follow them on Instagram.com/pixel.pusher, PUPSHR. Check out their stuff. It's fantastic. It's weird. It's trippy. It's awesome. And yeah, so we'll go through this workflow now, and I'll just go through every step and try to explain what's happening here on a step-by-step basis. It's actually a surprisingly easy workflow. There's not a lot to it. It just looks really intimidating because all the nodes are black. And it's like, it just looks like a whole bunch of settings, but you actually don't have to touch anything. You don't have to change any of these values at all. Oh, I lost my view of Empress. One sec. Fix that.
Of my face just being like, wow.
Yeah, it's just, some part of the screen. There we go. Let's get you in there. It's hard to do this with OBS, but it looks cool when it's working. All right, there we go. You're back. All right. So yeah. You know what? Maybe I should pull this onto my other window and just build this workflow from scratch. Trying to think if that would be more smarter, make sensorier. Because this is kind of dense. Yeah, let's start it all over. I'm just going to pull this into another tab and drag it off to the side. And we'll just rebuild it from the ground up. And that way, it might make more sense. So the heart of every ComfyUI, diffuser setup is a KSampler. And for this, we're going to use the efficient KSampler, and that's part of the efficiency nodes for ComfyUI, which are in the manager. If you need those, install custom nodes, efficient. Did I spell it wrong? Efficiency. Yeah, it's efficiency nodes. So yeah, type efficiency in there, and it's this one here, efficiency nodes for ComfyUI. Yep. And install that, and that'll give you these cool KSamplers that actually, there's this in the efficient loader, and it's about 5 or 6 nodes in one node. So like you can avoid plugging in a whole bunch of different nodes and stuff by using these efficient ones. They just group a lot of stuff, that like the prompt and the size and the batch size. That's 3 nodes there that they've put into this one. Plus it can load LoRa's. That's a 4th node they've mixed into this. So if you want your workflows to be simple and easy to look at, highly recommend efficiency nodes. You literally just plug it in like this, 1-to-1. Easy peasy. All right. So the settings for these, because we're using LCM for this, if you guys have been watching, you know that LCM is a much faster way of getting to a result. So like normally it would take 25 to 50 steps to get to a result. With LCM, we're getting there, in 4 to 8, 7 steps, 8 steps. Looks amazing. For this particular workflow, we do 11 steps, but that's insane. It's so fast. And the way we get that is by using an LCM AnimateLCM LoRA and the Photon LCM checkpoint. So the LCM is actually built into both the checkpoint and the animated like LoRA checkpoint, and as a result we get really good results at really low steps, which is amazing for iteration, obviously, because you can do a long generation in a very short amount of time, or you can do a short animation in an extremely short amount of time, which is really awesome. So yeah, these nodes basically just they contain the clip and the empty latent space. So we are going to, in Comfy, when you have stuff like this, and like if I want to plug something in to this empty latent width instead of having to type it every time, if I right click on the node, I just go convert empty latent width and height to input. So we just turn them into, we're turning them into like inputs, because what I want to do is open up a node called I don't know, it's Serge resolution. It's 2 values. What node are you? What node are you? Integer pair. There it is. Serge integer pair. The reason I'm using this is because it just lets you set 2 values and plug them into 2 things. So if we're going to use this node to determine our resolution. So I'm going to call this resolution integer pair. So if you need that node, it's in the Serge SDXL node group. Same system. Go into the manager, install custom nodes, Serge, restart. So we got it, and we're going to set our resolution to 576 by 320. So that's 576 wide by 320 tall, and that's actually what AnimateLCM is trained at. So it'll work best at this res. We can upscale it later, but it's best to work at either this or the opposite, 320 by 576 if you want a tall one, or 576 by 576 works pretty cool too. But once you go above and below that, you start to get weird subjects and stuff like that. I'm sure you guys have seen what happens when you use the wrong aspects in Stable Diffusion before. Okay. We also need a LoRa stack, because we need the LoRa to load before it loads here. This is a bit of inside baseball, but like this, normally you would just load this AnimateLCM LoRa in here, but we actually need to load it in a LoRa stack. So we're going to use a LoRa stacker. And we're just going to say, we only want one. And simple one AnimateLCM. That's the other link that I sent in the chat. Just scroll up for it. And we're going to set the weight of this one at 0.35, because the checkpoint that we're going to use is the, where are you? Photon LCM checkpoint. This already has LCM in it, so we don't actually need to do a full strength LoRa LCM on top of an LCM. What'll happen there is you start to get some like overbaked, deep fried JPEG vibes to your animations. So yeah, these are the settings you wanna use basically. We're gonna do a batch size of 24. That's how many frames we're gonna generate. And for this, I'm just gonna say 4K, and for the negative, We're going to say watermark, text, signature, blurry, and we're going to use the bad dream embedding. If you need the bad dream embedding, you just go to Civitai, bad dream. And yeah, these are negative embeddings. You put them in your models embeddings folder, and they will do their best to not do things. So they're like bundles of negative prompts, things like disfigured fingers and broken stuff, and you know, like all the gross words. Essentially, they're in there so that it helps to guide your subject or whatever it is to a more beautiful result. If you find that it's too beautiful or too perfect or too weird, just remove that embedding. But it's a good place to start to get, you know, pretty good animations most of the time. But we're stacking the LoRA. So now the other thing we want to do is, instead of letting these nodes handle the seed, we're gonna end up using another integer thing to name the seed, because we were gonna have to set that in several places. The reason we do that is so that we can unplug the upscaler and just make stuff, and then when we like it, we can plug the upscaler back in and hit it again, and it'll just start from where it was because everything's the same seed. So since you already have made the thing, it's still in latent image space, so it can just send it right to the upscaler and get to work. So it saves you from having to either upscale every run, which takes forever, or, you know, start all over again when you want to upscale because you have to render the whole thing over again. So yeah, use a fixed seed for these, and that'll save you trouble down the road. It also helps later with post-processing. If I want to like do film interpolation and all that other stuff on the end, if I want to add something to that after the fact, I literally just add it and run it again. And if the seed is the same and nothing changed, it'll just go from that part on again. Sort of the way Comfy works is from left to right. So if your stuff is, you know, if you're adding stuff at the end, it'll run later without having to rerun all this stuff if your seeds are the same. It was a really long way to explain why I'm doing that, but convert seed to input, and we're just going to use a seed node. So drag out, let go. Seed everywhere is fine. That's in the use everywhere node suite. If you download this workflow from Banodoco and then pop it in, a bunch of these nodes will be red. You just hit install missing custom nodes, and they'll all pop up here. You can just install them and then restart Comfy, and then the whole thing will work as soon as you get the models in place. So you don't necessarily have to go hunting all these down manually like I'm doing now. It's just because I'm manually rebuilding the workflow and explaining where those nodes come from. So yeah, don't freak out. All right, so right now, yeah, don't freak out. Don't freak out. It's fine. So I'm going to add a video combine on the end of this KSampler, and I'm going to set it to 24 frames per second, MP4, and I'm going to turn down the CRF, which is the quality. The lower the number, the higher the quality, and the higher the file size. The higher the number, the lower the quality, the lower the file size. So you got to find your happy medium. I like 10 to 15, 5 if I want like lossless, amazing video. But for the most part, you know, 15 or whatever is fine. I think 19 is the default, so, you know, whatever. And there's this really cool thing I found recently for these nodes. And if you right click on it and convert your file name prefix to an input, there's actually a node called file name prefix by Mikey nodes. And what it does is it'll make a folder for the thing that you're doing with the today's date on it. And then it'll put everything you made today in that folder, which is just so handy, because I don't know if you guys have ever seen my output folder, but it is an absolute nightmare because I don't always do this, and then everything gets dumped into my output folder, right? And it's just like, it's ridiculous. So for this, we're going to say we'll call it jeru animation low res. So that's the custom directory. It's going to make a date in that directory and then dump the files in there. So a jeru LR. So that's his workflow, low res LR. So the file names that this generates will be, whoops, I'm gonna brain fart. 24 FPS. Okay. So now it's going to make a folder called jeru LR, and then date folder inside of there, and then drop these files in sequentially one by one as we build them. So all you have to do then is when you want to do a different type of video output, you can copy these nodes, plug it in here. And so if I wanted a 12 frame per second version as well, it's as easy as just changing these values here. So now it'll generate a 24 frame per second version and a 12 frame per second version. And you can do other things like if you want to interpolate it so that it's smooth, you can add a film node and do this exact same thing here. And plug that into the input, and then just make sure you rename it to film so that you know it's a film. And that'll give us a nice, smooth, interpolated version of the video. You know, and you can also do that with color matching and any other post-processing you want to do. So we'll make an animation, then it'll process it a few more times to give us some options down the road. And you don't actually have to save these outputs if you don't want to. So the save output, if you turn that off, it won't bother saving them. So you don't have to fill up your hard drive with things. You can basically turn that all off. And then when you like one, you can right click on it and save it. But if you don't care about hard drive space and you'll just deal with that, make that a problem for future pers, then yeah, just save output, because that way you don't have to remember to save it later. Yeah. So these are for like, after we generate all the frames, these will turn them into videos. Okay. What else we got here? So right now, we don't have the animation aspect built in. That's what this large space is for. But as it stands right now, it loads up a Photon LCM. It loads the AnimateLCM LoRA. This is our prompt. It's feeding the resolution in, and it's feeding the seed in. We're going to change that to fixed, and we're going to do the best number in the world, which is 42069. And that's
you absolute DJ.
This is the best number in the world. And yeah, I mean, if you want to recreate anything I've ever done, you can start with the seed 42069 in my prompt. You'll probably get there.
No, really.
Anytime I've used a fixed seed, that's usually where I've started. So a quick way to art fraud me.
Now we're all just gonna be able to totally steal everything you've ever done.
Yeah. Yeah, I just changed it to 42069 and bam, instant pers.
Instant
pers. All right, where were we? Okay, so right now we're only controlling this by prompt, but we don't want to do that. We want to control this by IP adapters. I know I'm throwing a lot of terms around, and if this stuff is new to you, it's probably scary, but let me explain what IP adapters is and does. So we have image to image, right, with AI, but IP adapters is a little different because it doesn't actually use the image as a basis for the generation. It uses clip vision, which is like AI vision, to look at the image and then write a prompt in machine language, and then it adds that prompt to the structure. So you can essentially prompt with images. But it's not a direct image to image. So it'll just try to take the style of whatever you're making and then infuse it into the IP adapter, or into the model chain, which is crazy. Yeah, I'll show you guys what I mean once I install it. But yeah, basically you install it by going to the manager, install custom nodes, IP adapter, install IP adapter plus by Cubic, and then go into the install models and search for IP adapter. And you basically need all this, but you don't need all of it. But for what we're doing today, you need IP adapter plus SD15, and you need the clip. You need yes, right here, this clip vision model. See how it says needed for IP adapter? That's the one you want there. Either one of these are fine. This one will probably give you a better result, but it requires more VRAM. So if you're low on VRAM, get this one. It's the smaller one. I think, and this one's, I think, the smallest one. Oh no, yeah, this is the smallest one. Yeah, the clip VIT H14 lay on 2B, whatever, that one. Get that. And then, yeah, so what we need is an apply IP adapter from encoded. So we're going to encode our own IP adapter. The IP adapter comes through the model chain. So we go model to model. So it gets fed in around here-ish. And let's look at all the inputs. We got an IP adapter input, an embeds input, and an attention mask input. We don't need the attention mask. That's for masking. We can look at that later. It's pretty interesting, but we don't need to think about it right now. We're going to set the weight to 1.5 to really cook it. Well, that's 150% essentially. Whenever you see a 0 to 1, you think of that as 100 to 0%. Usually. IP adapter. We need the IP adapter model loader. You'll notice I'm just dragging the noodle out and letting go. And then IP adapter model loader, not that. Boop. Hit refresh after you've downloaded those models, and then they should show up in here. You want the IP adapter plus SD15. What else do we need? We need embeds. So we're going to get an IP adapter encoder, which will let us plug 4 images in and mix them together into the IP adapter's like vision. We're only using 1 image, but we want this IP adapter plus thing, so we're using the encoder for this. But you can use this to mix multiple styles together if you want. Once you've built the first one, you can see how to build the rest of them. So we need another loader, the Clip Vision loader, and that's the other model we just downloaded. Remember that Clip Vit H Lion one I was talking about? That's it there. So yeah, that's basically the IP adapter setup right there. Try to put these. Where can I put these where this makes sense? Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And then now we need to feed images into it. So drag out from image 1. You need a node called prep image. Prepare image for Clip Vision. Prep image. Change your crop position to the center. And then out of image, we want a load image. Bloop. And then there's just a bunch of random stuff I have in here. You like that? I like her beard.
I like her beard too. It's a good color
That's
beard.
a good one too.
Is it Purita? Not that one. That one. We don't need that one. We don't need another picture of a guy taking a selfie in a car.
What are you talking about? All my pictures of my LoRA. I did an animation with my LoRA and I used all selfies of me, and every time I'm in a car, like just in a car, no matter what. So I'm just in a car. This is the only place I don't feel self-conscious taking a selfie.
For anyone listening, me and Pers are both Aries and we like jab at each other a lot, so it's all love.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end up shit talking him though. It happens.
That's the point.
He does with me
Please
too.
do.
He does with me too.
But yes. So yeah, this is the whole setup for IP adapters. It's all wrapped through the model chain, and then all this crap's plugged in. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, I'll leave it up for a minute. But yeah, this will infuse.
We want that selfie screenshot.
Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah, let's do. There, if you want a screenshot, there you go. So yeah, that will infuse whatever style of this image into the what we're making. So let's Willem Dafoe, shall we? Another thing you can do is actually right click away from a group of nodes that are selected and add a group. So we can start grouping these nodes so that they actually make sense. It's an IP adapter block, right? There's our IP adapter. This is our loader and our settings, so we can make a little group for these. Yeah, and then this is our diffusion. I'm going to add a few nodes to this, so I'll wait. And this is our output, so let's make a little group. Drag that down because these are about to stretch. Cool. All right. See, not scary at all. It's just 4 boxes of boxes.
I'm terrified.
All right, let's add more boxes. All right. Actually, you know what we can do? We can run this right now as not a video thing, so you guys can see what's happening here with just single images. So you go here, you go here, you go. Yeah. So what I did here was built a reroute that plugs all these in, and now I can just I can unplug the reroute, and now all this stuff's unplugged. So it won't try to generate a video from an image, and I can just make a little save image node, put it here, just plug this in, because we're just going to do a single image. So if I did this right and we change this down to 1 instead of 24, this should make one image of Willem Dafoe. That's wide.
Wide?
Aspect ratio, like 16 by 9.
Oh, I was like, is it going to widen him?
Yeah, we're going to widen him. Oh, hold on. Maybe we're not. I'm pretty sure this is because I'm just trying to do one frame. So let's forget this for now, and we'll just truck through until I add the video. All right, let's add the... Okay, so after our loaders and our IP adapter, we need to use AnimateDiff to make animations. It's not that bad. It's a little scary, but it's not that bad. All right. I'm actually going to do it before IP adapter. Yeah. We're going to use the AnimateDiff loader legacy. We don't need the new one. There's a new version of AnimateDiff that's more controllable. We don't need it for this workflow. If you want to dig into that, I have videos on it, but for now, let's just stick with the easy one, okay? So SD15 T2V beta, I believe I linked it in the thing. That's what you need for this. This is our AnimateDiff motion model. SD T2V beta. The beta schedule is LCM is greater than twice square root linear, whatever. It's this one. LCM bracket square root linear. For our motion scale, we're going to go 1.150. So I'll explain how the motion scale works in a minute, and hopefully it'll make sense. But for now, let's just pipe it through. So this goes through the model as well. So basically, our model chain, right, goes from the loader to AnimateDiff to apply IP adapter to the KSampler and out. So we're just running things through the path of the diffusion process. So we start by loading the checkpoint and the prompt, and then we're setting up the animation, and then we use this thing, a IP adapter, to infuse style, and then we do the dream with mixing this with the prompt and the AnimateDiff motion stuff to get really cool animations out of it. So let's add a context options, a looped uniform context options. 1613. All right, I've explained this a few times, but I'll do it again. Context length. AnimateDiff is a motion model built on 16 frame chunks of animations. So it understands what things do over the course of 16 frames. That's why it's amazing at water and wind and plants and things like that, because it knows how plants move over the course of a video. So it's able to take that and infuse it into our animations. It's different than Deforum, because Deforum will render a frame and then look at that last frame and mix it with the prompt and then give you a new frame. And then it does that over and over and over and over and over again, which can lead to like a flickering or like flipbook type of look, which is great. Deforum looks the way it looks. But AnimateDiff is different because the things that flicker are the context as it jumps from window to window. So if my animation is, if my animation window is 16 frames, but my animation is 32 frames, it's going to jump 2 windows. So our context length is 16. Our stride is 1. You leave that alone. Don't worry about stride. But the overlap here is where we determine how jagged or interpolated the transitions in context are. So at a lower context overlap, the transitions in context are more jagged and flashy, and higher, they actually morph into each other. So anything over 2, like 3, 4, or 5 are very morphy. Below that, they're almost changed like flickers. And above that, the whole thing is constantly changing. So it's fun to play with context overlap, but I tend to set it at 3 or 4 for the most part. We want a closed loop because these animations will all loop automatically, which is amazing. So motion LoRA. these motion LoRa's are actually they're on Banodoco in the motion LoRa's thing, and so our community is actually capable of training our own motion LoRa's. So we have a motion checkpoint up here, the STT2V beta, but like LoRa's for checkpoints, we can actually have LoRa's for motions where you train one motion into a LoRa, then you can use that motion. So for this, I'm going to use Jeru's Shatter motion model, which is available in the workflow and on the on Civitai if you search for Shatter motion LoRa. And I think we only need sample settings now. AnimateDiff sampling settings. Batch offset 0, empty. Noise type is empty. Comfy. Yeah. So the thing we have to change here is that the noise type is empty. If you change it to something else like repeated context or free noise, it'll be like insanely busy. There's gonna be like particles and stuff flying everywhere. So it's because of the noise as it's denoising the animation. So let's set that to empty. All right. That's AnimateDiff in a nutshell. This is a super simple AnimateDiff workflow or setup that that will yield positive results every time. The other thing I did here was change the AnimateDiff LoRa strength to 0.5, and we're using this motion scale multiplier to control the speed. So leave it at half. That'll make it not too fast. Then you can use this to make it more or less busy. Stay above 1, and I mean, you can go below 1, but you'll see what happens. It starts to just stay the same image over the course of the animation. 1 to like 1.5 or 1.6 is probably as high as you want to go, but you can crank this up and get like absolutely just, you know, gooey, glitchy results as well. So it's fun to use the wrong settings. It's as much fun to do the wrong stuff as it is to do the right stuff. So
Most
feel free to
in general.
Feel free to just like use the wrong settings because sometimes you get crazy results out of them.
Also, I know I'm getting hungry because when you said gooey, I'm like, yeah, let's get gooey.
Let's get gooey.
Let's get gooey.
Let's get Willem Dafoe into a burrito.
Mm-hmm. A cinnamon roll. Very gooey cinnamon roll.
Okay, if I did this right, oh no, we're gonna add a few more things actually. On the KSampler, because we are using the efficiency nodes, we have access to the HighRes Fix script, which I don't know if you ever used Automatic 1111, but there's a HighRes Fix in Automatic 1111 for doing stuff at different aspect ratios. And we can replicate that here in Comfy as well with this efficiency node. So drag out from script and drop a HighRes Fix script in there. And for these settings, we're going to upscale by 1.75 times. We're going to use the same seed. We're going to do 8 steps, and we're going to denoise it at 40% or 0.4. Those are the high-res script settings, and then I think that's it. It feels full. Let me change these colors. Okay. Easy, right? Easy.
Sure.
Easy. It's easy, guys.
It is.
Easy, guys. Actually, once this is done, you literally just change this picture and hit play. So, it's pretty cool. Like you don't really actually have to do anything I've done. I just did this so you guys can understand the flow of like what we're looking at and what we're doing here. But yeah, you can just grab the workflow and plug it in, hit install missing custom nodes and go. Yeah, that's the nice part about it. You don't have to really understand it, but it helps to understand it because then you know what changing things does, right? Let's try it and see if I broke it. Oh, we're down. It's definitely broken because it's still one frame. Yeah. All right, so let's do 24 frames. And oh, why are you mad? UNet model has no attribute. Default image only indicator. This is new. I wonder if something has changed in Comfy that breaks everything. This is the problem with using software that is built on a house of cards.
Is it built on a house of cards?
Every Python program kind of is, because it's just
Okay.
frameworks and frameworks and frameworks and frameworks and frameworks. But I'm not willing to rule out that I've made a mistake here somewhere. I'm not willing to rule that out.
I mean, you don't really make mistakes though.
Oh yes, yes I do.
You make happy accidents because you're the
Right, yes,
Baba
happy
of
mass, happy
AI.
accidents. Yeah. That's all right. The decode is true. Interesting. Let's see if any of my plugins need an update. I haven't seen this error before.
You can blame me somehow. I don't know how, but you can.
I'll find a way. You hexed us before we came on.
It's my glitch energy just being present.
Just glitching things. How is
Mhm.
glitch, by the way?
She just came home like right before we started, so she was at the dog sitter. Glitch
Nice.
is my Rottweiler, for those who don't know.
And agent.
And agent, she's my number one. She's the number one Hollywood agent for crypto
Number one.
artists. Number one. But she's a half Rottweiler, half pit bull, so she's like a small Rottweiler. And when I got her, at the shelter in Oakland, California, where I used to live, I live in Mexico City now. Um, they she they were trying to find her paperwork in the computer and they couldn't find it, and they had to pull out her physical file and re-enter her. And I looked down at her, I'm like, "You're a glitch, aren't you?"
Yeah.
And she was just like, ah, like giving me her dumb face. So but she's just passed out next to me because she's been at the sitter while I was in Paris for the last 9 days, and it's like a farm situation, so she just runs amok for
Yeah.
like it's
Totally
her
overstimulated
vacation.
for days.
Yeah, she's like covered in dirt and totally just like exhausted right now. So whenever we're done live streaming, like she's getting a bath and we're cuddling, but she's good. She's smiling. She's like laying there smiling.
It was updated 70. Something is broken.
Did you break it? Did I
No,
break it?
luckily it wasn't us this time. Removing FreeU advanced worked for me. Okay. Let's do that. Uninstall. Yeah, you'll notice what I just did there, people. I Googled the error that I got and got a result. So try that before you ask me. No, I'm just kidding.
No, DM him. Like every
Yeah, DM
question
me every
that
question.
you could Google,
All right, let's try and
DM
restart it and see
her.
if it works. I mean, that worked this time. That doesn't work every time. So just kidding. It
Well, this
definitely
is
doesn't
such
work every time.
that's one thing. It's just such a new technology that even the troubleshooting there isn't like documentation on it.
Oh, I
So
lost your face again. God.
it's okay. My voice is just
Someone tell me.
I'm
Someone tell
God
me.
speaking on your stream.
Yeah. There we go. Hey, Matisse. What's up, bud? All right. Let's try this again. Oh. Oh. It's
Is it
working.
working?
Yes.
Good
All right.
job.
Yeah.
You
Google the
did it.
problem and Google the problem, and sometimes you get an answer. And sometimes you get my face, so I get why you message me. That happens to me too. I'll Google an error and my stupid face pops up, and I'm like, I can't help you with this.
No, that sounds like my personal hell. Of my face popping up. Maybe your face too. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
100%. This doesn't look like Willem Dafoe at all.
No, it kind of looks like I don't know what it looks like. That smile though, a Willem Dafoe smile, definitely. It looks like like some random actor that would be in like a British murder mystery.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Hugh Jackman.
Little.
All right, less scary nodes.
I'm still terrified.
It's gonna be okay.
I'll be okay. No, I just need, I'm gonna, it's just prompting me, you're prompting me, to get Comfy UI figured out.
Yeah, you will have
Get
no
out of
problem with it.
automatic. No, I know. I've been so inundated with stuff that it's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
like what you just like stay with what's familiar for a minute, and automatic 1111 I just got so comfortable with that, like it's like I don't have the bandwidth to like learn new things right now, but
Um, I mean, it's not Willem Dafoe.
no,
Um,
it looks like an animated Harry Potter portrait.
yeah, actually,
Like,
that's sort of what this reminds me of. Is like bringing those
mm-hmm,
portraits to life.
mm-hmm.
Let's try them all.
I like all the sparkles though. I'm vibing on
Yeah,
that.
it's actually a byproduct of the noise, but I like it too. It's cool. It's neat. I'm going to see. I feel like I missed a step somewhere though, but it doesn't look like it.
Devin, of course, like we're not streaming our workflows, so we don't have people judging us. So that's why we never make them pretty. Devin just said the whole make your workflow pretty step. I have never.
Yeah, well, he's like I have ADHD, but Matisse has like full blown what I don't know what you call it. He's yeah. I that tracks. That tracks. You should watch one of his streams sometimes. It's amazing.
I will. I will.
He streams for 18 hours minimum. Never loses an ounce of energy.
What?
Yeah, he's got it's named his ADHD is just named Matisse.
And I disappeared again.
Oh, that's because I see why. It's because when I pull up the comfy workflow, so I won't pull it up anymore.
Oh,
But this should be working, and now we can adjust this. So these settings here, the AnimateDiff LoRA strength and motion scale are what are gonna control how crazy the animation looks. So if this one's all wiggly and crazy too, we'll lower those a bit and try and get it set up and figure it out. I'm gonna actually pull that other window into here. Just drag it in here and see if I so it looks correct. Oh, I know what I did. I forgot to change the weight type to channel penalty. I don't know what it does, but that's what his was set to. So, oh, that's cool. It's like the trash cans are having a fight.
full contact trash wars. Oh yeah, it's like bumper trash. I'm here for this. I really like the metallic sparkly stuff going on and like the
Yeah,
lights in it.
yeah, it's cool. And then all these different motion modules do different things. Like dismantled one is really neat. Try
This
to turn
one
that up a bit.
reminds me of like, okay, this is really random, but like Art Week here in Mexico City, I went to this random show of like just someone put together in like a tiny little gallery in a hole, like a very tiny thing, and like you walk down and it's all cramped, and you go to like there was one installation, then you go around it, and then in the back room there was literally just two Roombas with stuffed roosters on top of them, and they were like they were like this fake like cockfight.
That's so
That was
cool.
the installation, but that's what they're like reminding me of, like those two Roomba roosters, like sorry, totally random,
Oh,
but
that's cool.
yeah, gotta love Mexico City,
It's wild how these perfectly loop for no reason.
right?
You can basically set this to any length, the length to any length, and it'll just loop. Anything above
It
16.
just like it just perfectly loops no matter like what
Yeah,
length you do.
because
That's
it's
dope.
as it moves through the motion models, it's interpolating those contexts back together. So like just as a result of the math, we get looping animations.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily just feel like a boomerang.
Yeah, or like like a glitch loop, like the
Yeah,
context, the animation motion itself is looping. So as a result, the animation loops, which is just crazy.
yeah,
It's such an interesting way to think about making motion graphics.
yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to play with this.
Yeah, like I said, once it's set up, you just drop images in here and hit go and adjust some
Um,
settings. Nothing to it. And you can change the prompt and stuff, but the IP adapter has the most effect over the. That's cool. It really picked up the like the graininess of the image. Added that like film grain to it.
yeah,
Send me some images if you want me to run them through.
yeah. Let me figure something out.
Otherwise, I'll just keep making horrible purses.
Horrible purses
Here
and
comes
millions
Barbie
of quotes.
purse.
Barbie. I want Barbie purse. I'm not gonna. That's how you. Anytime I'm on the live stream, that's how you're supposed to dress. You know.
Oh, my bad. I'll get on that. Oh God. Like I asked for it, right? You know,
You did. You
it's
asked
giving
for
me what
it.
I asked for.
Let me find some stuff. I'm gonna say I have. I'm just looking through my random image folder, and see here. I have Lady Gaga with a seahorse guitar, which is a definite must go.
Yeah, we'll try that.
Yeah. Ooh, here's a picture of the Toter in Miami. X-ray baby. I'm just DMing you on Discord, by the way.
Oh, okay. Grab these real quick. I've done X-Ray Baby a few times. It's amazing. It works great.
It just can't get old. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
That the sparkles on Barbie furs. That doesn't even. It's raining on you. It doesn't even look like sparkles.
Yeah, it just looks like there's stuff on my face. It might be the dismantled. Let's try a different motion model and turn down the motion just a little bit. All right, let's try one of those ones you sent. Let's try Lady Gaga first. And we'll do this one tall because the image is tall. 576. So yeah, remember the resolution is 576 by 320 or vice versa. That's what it's trained at. So that's what it's going to give you the best results at every time. So
Cool.
you turn it up, turn it down, you'll get more of these artifacts, this stuff. The higher you go, the more of this stuff you get. So we're kind of at as low as we're going to get with this stuff. So it's kind of about mitigating the bad stuff, like the stuff that looks like hair, but keeping this wicked motion we got. Like, look at the way the fabric moves down the shirt. Like, it's so cool.
That is super cool. And the camera, I'm off the camera again. It's just showing my,
Oh yeah, right, because we had the images up.
yeah.
Here and here and here and there you are. Hang on, we're back.
I really like the pattern motion in the fabric. It looks like snakes.
Yeah.
Like snake skin coming off.
Yeah, I got some really terrifying stuff last night with my face because I was using pictures of my face like as sushi, and then it was just like giving it that like sushi fish like texture. Like,
Oh my gosh.
it was really creepy.
I don't know if I like that.
Nobody did.
But he did.
Nobody liked it.
This is why we love you, because nobody likes what you do. Just
Thanks, I hate it.
that's, yeah.
Devin, this is a pretty interesting workflow. So it's essentially a high-res fix to make an outpainting, then animating. Yeah, kinda. Well, that's actually pretty dope.
It looks kind of like a jet, and it's really dope. But it's like, is that like a jet engine piano?
Yeah, I don't know what. It's like an accordion, but it's like super high tech.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to imagine what sounds that instrument make.
So what's this guy up to exactly?
Which one? The
The one
second?
right behind her.
Like, and then also the random tube at the bottom. That thing blasts audio. It's just like supersonic.
Yeah. Car windows break.
Yeah. It's just like everyone's glasses shatter, people's ears start bleeding.
So what happens if maybe like I add Lady Gaga concert stuff like that to the prompt? See if how much effect that has on it, because it doesn't look like her, but maybe it will this time.
I mean, it still has her style. It
Yeah,
just doesn't look
yeah. I
like
just
her.
like it's not her
Yeah.
face really,
Yeah.
but also you can't really see her face here either, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I love how much it's shortened down this guitar. They truncated it into little like.
It's very confused. And then the tail of it, that's the random pipe. That's the
This thing?
random. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's trying to understand what the fuck
What is that?
Yeah. Oh my god. I knew the seahorse guitar would yield fun stuff.
So this workflow is maxing out at 12 or 13 gigabytes of VRAM. So, and I'm streaming and I'm on Discord and I'm restreaming Empress's video and stuff. So I have a feeling you could probably pull this off on less than 12 gigs of VRAM. So those of you at 3060s and 8 gig cards and stuff, give it a shot because it might still work. It might be a little slower, but it should work. Unfortunately, there's nothing aside from removing the high-res fix. There's not much we can do to mitigate RAM usage on this, but what you can do is get rid of the IP adapter if you don't have enough RAM and just prompt your way to stuff, because like you don't necessarily have to use images to prompt. This does take more VRAM than not doing it. So if it's really slow on your machine and you need to kill something, this IP adapter stuff is the thing to kill. So to do that, you would literally just, instead of your model going through it, you would take the model. Oh, these are backwards actually. So this happens first. Whoops, I grabbed a node by accident. There we go. So to like disable this, you would just unplug the model like that, and then plug it. Like, so basically this is disconnected now. See how it's not connected to anything? You can either delete it after that or just leave it off. But if you want to then plug it back in, you just route the model back through it. Model out, model in. Easy peasy. You can do that with anything, bypass it by disconnecting the model, or there's actually a node by RG called Fast Bypass. And you can plug one thing into the front and one thing into the back, and it'll give you a switch in here where you can turn stuff on and off. So you can route, like, say I wanted to have a bypasser for AnimateDiff or for IP adapter, I can route the model through that, right? Actually, this is a horrible example. I have to use something else because I need this to go to two places. And you have to use a switch for this, basically, fast switch, and it would have two outputs. So you could have this one go to this and have this one go to this, so that you could say, I want it to go through this or not through this. So just using a logic gate to determine your workflows. So your workflows don't necessarily have to be always linear. You can work out methods of doing switching and Booleans and stuff like that to say, oh, I want to upscale here. I don't want to upscale there. I want to do it this time. I don't want to do it this time. I guess it looks a little bit more like her, but not really.
Those thighs are pretty thick, though.
The piano, I don't know. It's like a handbag now.
Yeah.
She's like scratching her hand. I think she's got a mosquito bite.
It looks like a giant, like, diamond in a weird way.
Either way, nailed it.
Nailed it. It still has that weird ankle thing going on.
Yeah, it has no idea what to do with her.
No idea.
Her ankle tail. Yeah, I could post this on Instagram though. Done and done.
Should do the meat suit too.
Oh yeah. Hey, Shadow. Apparently the API, Matisse, apparently there's one, if you look in the Chris tools, CHRS, Chris tools, CRYS, yeah, Chris tools. Apparently there's some switches and stuff in this node pack that work with the API. So you can use these apparently with the API. So look into that. Or else. Yeah, man. Go forth and make nerdy stuff.
Oh, I sent you the meat suit.
I'm hoping for the advent of AI music so that I can have an infinite stream music thing that'll just make infinite royalty-free music forever. And then I can just have that lo-fi stuff playing in the background. But actually, the main reason I don't play music on my stream is, A, I don't want to get copy stricken because then the information is gone. You know what I mean? And two, a lot of people like to have their own music on at their own volume, right? Like, I don't think if a lot of people listening to this stream just, you know, raw dog in the audio. I think they probably got their own music on. Quiet, so it's nice to have. Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Like, super
really
cool.
Neat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's from my first EmProps thing.
Very cool.
So we're getting meta.
I'll send you these after too. Just remind me.
Yeah.
If you want to use them for posts or whatever. Just Hugh Jackman all over the place. All right. It's Toter time.
Hells yeah. So
it's Toter time.
I can give story on that.
Yes, give story about the Toter. I'm going to go make a coffee. Tell everybody about the Toter.
Yeah. So the Toter is like a symbol in crypto art started by like Rob Ness, where he minted a picture that he just like right click saved and um of a like a trash bin, and then he threw it through Photomosh and he like put it on one of like really exclusive platforms, super rare, back in the day, and it got banned um because they were just like, this isn't art, and it became a whole thing. Eventually it sold for like a ridiculous amount of money. He ended up getting he got banned off of there. He ended up getting put back on, but the toter has become like this symbol of digital trash art in general, where it's like a lot of found art or people who are like kind of pushed out from like a lot of these like kind of more exclusive situations. But this picture of the toter is actually because we went to Miami Art Week last year, this last December, for like Art Basel and everything. And we one of our friends, Vandalo Ruins, created this thing called Permissionless Gallery, where we essentially take a projector around to like all these different fancy events or wherever, but a lot of times fancy events, and we project the art. And so of like just whoever Vando, I call him Vandalo curates, but overall, like also specifically for this, it was like a lot of people who were left out of like, being in Art Basel and all these exclusive art parties and all that. And it was like a lot of our friends who are artists and stuff, a lot of punk artists. And so we mounted the projector in the toter, and then we took it around to all these events, which because I'm like both Rob, who created the original like toter thing, like image, um, but also like both him and I got invited to like all these stupid parties, or great parties, just kidding, but like fancy parties. But essentially, we were bringing this huge trash can around, and then all of our like art friends and stuff were tagging it, and we were just projecting art like either outside the events or like in the events. So it became kind of this super rebellious symbol of like trash art and like all the exclusivity in art and everything. So that's just the snap that someone got of it in all of our adventures around Miami. So it's like the, digital becoming reality and then coming back. But a lot of people use the toter in art um in general when they start getting into like all of our stuff in the trash art space. So yeah, that's the trash story. That's the toter story. And I was hoping I would tell it long enough where Pers would come back before I ended it. But oh, there's more to it. So since then, the toter got put in a Tashem book, and that was part of the reason we were in Paris. And also there's like a documentary coming out about Rob and CryptoPunks and the toters in that too. So it's really becoming the symbol on a wide scale to a lot of people of just rebellious artists. And I'm Empress Trash, so I just get sucked into everything. I didn't like help make the toter, but I just like I'm a big fan, and I do my own style of trash. A lot of like AI stuff also like gets into like a lot of, since AI is being questioned a lot as art, like we push against it a lot too, of like, well, AI, not saying all AI is trash art, but it's like we like bring in a lot of like AI into the narrative, and Pers is back. It looks, I love the flying car.
Yeah, this is really cool. I'm
I
gonna run
was
another
trying
one
to
of these.
tell,
Keep talking. I don't mean to
no,
interrupt.
I was like, I'm trying to like condense the complexity of this fucking trash can or this freaking trash can.
Oh, we can swear. It's fucking fine.
Okay. Okay. Like the story of it and what it means when it's just a trash can, but it's also become this like flag of flying. That flying car is so dope.
Yeah.
But a lot of where I got to in the story was talking about how AI art, like it's not necessarily trash AI art is trash art, but a lot of trash artists use AI art because it's again pushing against the concept of like what is art. And like AI, like we love a lot of us trash artists love AI art in general because it's kind of like a peak of like a lot of trash things and um it pisses a lot of people off and that's one thing we like to do is make people angry. So trash art is a bunch of trolls. That's about it.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. It's good stuff.
Trolls with a heart of gold. We're chaotic. People say we're chaotic good. I
Yeah,
assert we're chaotic neutral.
yeah, it depends. We're chaotic good until someone does something real creepy.
And then it's chaotic evil.
Then that comes out, yeah.
So, no, that looks dope. Super dope. I like how the stickers are like,
Wiggling around.
yeah,
In a word, chaos.
that's about it. It's just trash chaos.
That's cool. I like the other one better though, with the car. So what was the other image? Oh yeah, X-ray baby. Let's go, X-ray baby.
X-ray, baby.
That's what I'm gonna do wide actually. 576 by 320. Matisse, you asked about this workflow earlier. It's available on Civitai. Let me grab the link. Yeah. It's in a giant mess of links I posted. I think it's this one. Nope, that's the LCM. No, that's the Shatter motion LoRA. It's on Banodoco. It's by Pixel Pusher, Jeru. Yeah, it's the 4-step LCM one. Just grab it. Oh, you know what? I gotta drop a link to Banodoco in the chat because everyone always asks for that. Banodoco. All of you, if you're not on Banodoco and you're interested in ComfyUI in general, get on Banodoco. That's all I'm saying.
Not sponsored by Banodoco.
No, not at all.
I know.
It's just a cool spot. It's just where everyone posts the workflows. So, you know, it's where we all find all the new toys to play with. This is going to be wild,
now.
I think.
The X-ray baby. It's gonna be at a disco.
Hey, Zlata, about 4 or 5 hours after the stream, the live chat becomes available if you come back to the stream later. But yeah, unfortunately, in real time, it doesn't work. So yeah, if you look in the description, there's some links. And then, yeah, just join Banodoco and grab this workflow. And she's like so over it. Like, nah. This is so weird.
Whoa.
Disinterested baby. Yeah, she's so over it. That is some epic side eye. I wonder what a square one would do. Let's try 576 by 576.
I'm gonna be right back. I need to make a snack.
Sounds good.
I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm. Do 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 do. Once I learn how to train motion LoRa's, I'll teach the rest of you how to do it. But I haven't. I just haven't dug into Motion Director yet, but I do need to. So actually, FreeU is actually broken right now. I had to disable it. But yeah, normally FreeU works really well. This is weird. Yeah, Matisse, if you go in the Banodoco server, there's actually a motion LoRa repository in there where everyone's posting their custom motion LoRa's. That's where I got all these ones from today. Yeah, they look sick. They work really good. This one is KMO. I don't know which one this is. I forget who made them all. I should have put their names in each one so I could shout them out. Jeru Pixel Pusher made one called Shatter. It's really good. It's on Civitai. Pollyanna's made some really good ones. Ants, like ants traveling across the screen, and then like lots of ants is one. Meteor shower, a few of the other cool motions. This is just going to be pure chaos because it's too big, I think. What's the difference between SVD and AnimateDiff if used with IP adapter input? I got that SVD is image to video and AnimateDiff has been text to video. Yeah, basically. Also with stable video diffusion, you can only do 24 frames or 16 frames or whatever your model is. You can't extend that. With AnimateDiff, you can extend it because we're able to span different context windows. So we can make a 240 frame animation if we want. We can make a 500 frame animation. It's all dependent on how much VRAM you have when it comes time to stitch them all back together. But with stable video diffusion, you only get those 24 frames, and then you have to VAE decode. There's no way to keep it in the latent. So what a lot of people are doing are using stable video diffusion to make an input video, and then using that input video with AnimateDiff to make something new. This is like sort of an IP adapter source, control net depth map source, you know, like whatever. But yeah, it's using them together is cool. But yeah, SVD is really good at image to video, which is its primary sort of task. This is crazy. All right, we're definitely too big. Let's go back to 320. Let's try a less fuzzy picture. I think we're going to animate this cheeseburger, friends. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, SVD is going to get better and better as they make longer and longer models. Or if we ever figure out how to span the models. I know there's an SVD LCM now too, which is really interesting. Well, I'll probably dig into that on a stream soon because you know, getting to those results in 4 steps or 6 steps is very exciting. I'm either about to make you very hungry or very nauseous. Depends how this cheeseburger comes out. May not come out good. Wow, 2 hours. Doesn't feel like we've been streaming for 2 hours, but here we are. In Banodoco, I can't actually go to Discord right now because I'll lose Empress's stream, but I think it's 80 motion LoRa's or, yeah, I feel like there's a directory for it. Maybe it's in tools. Just search for Shatter. Search for the word Shatter. Oh, you know what? I can look at it on my Mac. One sec. Discord. Yeah, it's a new channel. Ugh. Ugh. It's not very appetizing. What if, how can I mitigate some of this? Let's increase the motion scale to like 1.4, really make it go ham. Get it? Hamburger? Get it? You can go ham. I'll be here all night, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's try it again. Same motion LoRa, but with like way higher scale of motion.
I'm even more hungry now because we got gooey.
Hello. Yeah, this
Hello.
hamburger didn't turn out good.
No, it looks good. I'd eat it.
Would you? It's moving around a bit.
It's like eating live octopus.
Yeah, it's eating you back a little bit.
Wait, I made like a sandwich. I'm just gonna mute. I'm not
Nice.
gonna eat. Unless you guys want ASMR, but I don't think I provide good ASMR eating. Have you ever did you ever try to do ASMR for people purrs?
No.
Why
I just
not?
rub my beard against the microphone.
Eat a gooey burger.
Yeah. Nobody needs to see or hear that. That terrible right is reserved for my wife.
That's the privilege of being married
Yeah.
to you.
She gets to see it every day.
I'm so jealous / horrified. Matisse
And she's so
lucky.
She's so lucky.
She's lucky. Yeah, sure. We'll stick with that.
I always do that Peter Griffin thing, you know. It's, I spoil you. Oh wow. Okay, yeah. So turning up the motion scale had an effect for sure. Yeah. Look at it go.
Maybe not the effect you wanted, but
would you eat this burger? This burger seems angry.
I feel like I would have to eat it. Like it's a life or death situation.
Yeah.
If I don't like destroy it, it's gonna destroy me.
It'll start harming the community.
Yeah, like I'd have to.
No clowns, right? No clowns. If I remember correctly, no clowns.
No,
I have a picture of Pennywise, but I'll avoid that one for today. We don't need scary
like
Pennywise.
If I ate this burger, it would like transform me. Like I would become the burger.
You're just like wiggling around.
Mm-hmm. I said no clowns. Don't use that picture.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, my bad.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll find no clown. I'll find somebody who's not a clown. It's really wild that it can pull this from this with like no prompt at all. Just like, yeah, I know what this is. I got you.
That's super cool. Is it gonna make you muscular?
No, I have special ones for that.
Special what? Pictures or
yeah. Special pictures. These ones here. These are by far some of the best animations or pictures I've ever made. I like this one. where the guy's sort of just like part of me. I don't know who he is, but he's part of me. Let's try that one next. This could make something terrible, actually. We'll see.
I like how it's like he's worked out very hard to have you grow out of his chest.
Mm-hmm. I'm a Quado.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy?
Fantastic.
Who's Jimmy?
I want to see you. I want to see that one, but wiggling like the burger.
Yeah,
So I have my
we're getting
fingers
there.
crossed.
We're getting there.
I have my fingers crossed.
Oh wow, that's super trippy. Who needs mushrooms? The blinking is crazy. So cool.
I like how the glasses blink too.
Yeah, they kind of in and out of existence.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it avoided my face and it's just made our friend on top here.
It was just like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah. His muscles are going to get real weird by the time this is done, I think. Jimmy swole. I'm gonna grab that other picture of Lady Gaga. Lady
Yeah,
Gaga.
we need meat gaga. I just want to see how it like thinks about the meat.
Do. Did I already test out Doe? No, not yet. I'm super excited to play with Doe. If you guys haven't seen Doe yet, it's this really cool new way of doing animation with AI, where you sort of prompt and script what you want to happen, starting with images and ending with images. So you can make a series of images in the same style and then interpolate between them and try to make an animation happen. So if you're into what I'm doing with AnimateDiff, but it looks too crazy, this might be a better approach because it's more like human language in the sense that you're controlling it on a more like you have more visual feedback with what you're doing. So yeah, check it out. I haven't checked it out yet, but I'll recommend it because it looks cool. Looks like a brand new way to think about animation, and it's by Peter O'Malley, who's I don't know if he owns or created, but he's a big part of the Banodoco server. So this is a Banodoco original. This one here. So it uses steerable motion and motion director to make it make stuff. And like you notice the guidance strength. You see this guidance video of the cat walking. That motion has been applied to this cat in these images. So you just make 4 images with stable diffusion, use a motion video, and mash them together into an animation. It's pretty cool. Same here. See, we got the 4 pictures of this fella, and then the camera moving around the lighthouse, and then we get the camera moving around this guy because it's interpreting the motion from the video and taking the stuff. So if you're a visual person, this is the way to go.
Do you have to have a guidance video, or can you just prompt?
You can interpolate. You don't need the guidance video. You can just have it sort of morph between the images as well. So if you don't want camera motion, you just want it to sort of slowly morph between images, you can do that as well. But yeah, and apparently it has access to inpainting and all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, check out Doe. And if I recall, can you install it with Pinokio yet? Probably not. Just trying to see if it's Might be a little awkward to install for just a casual person. It looks like a bit of a Python nightmare to set it up. Not nightmare, but like, yeah, it hasn't been set up like with a simple installer yet. Let's see if it's in thing though. Pinokio. Not yet. Hopefully soon. If you guys haven't seen Pinokio yet, it's a way to play with these environments without installing them on your computer, or in the sense removing your local Python libraries and messing them up. So you can install all of these little things into bubbles and then delete them when you're done playing with them. So yeah, and I've installed ComfyUI this way too. It's a really easy way to interface with Comfy. It handles all the back end stuff and all the crap you don't want to deal with. It's pretty cool. That's
I'm gonna have to pick your brain
Pinokio.
on setting all that up.
Pinokio.computer. That's the link there. Gross.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Plus snaky.
Hmm? Yeah. Yeah, these snakes in a trash bag. Ugh.
Ew.
Gross.
This is why I like you though. It like makes it's like things that make me uncomfortable are like my favorite thing.
I know.
So
It's
it's like
why
I'm
we
like
watch.
this is
Why we watch horror
I'm like
movies, right?
I'm like this is absolutely disgusting, and I'm like I love it. Like I just don't say that part a lot. Um, it's gross. It's like um
And
how I
may
imagine it would feel touching someone not muscular.
I'm just gonna add NSFW nude to this because I think it's misinterpreting the sheerness for nakedity. For nakedity. Less meat, please.
I thought I was wondering what it would do with the meat. I'm sorry.
That's all good. We're trying things. This is an educational stream. As far as I know, you can show anything you like on an educational stream. There's a dude straight waxing his butthole on YouTube, so I think we're doing okay.
Really?
Yeah. It's for education, so they left it up. It's got millions and millions of views.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, also to be that guy and be like, and people be like, so, like, why are you financially independent? And it's like, I have a viral video of my at waxing my asshole.
Mm-hmm. Great conversation starter at parties.
Mm-hmm. I would have it on my tombstone.
Just the link, no context.
A QR code.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
It just says on the tombstone, they died as they lived. Waxing their butthole. Yeah, you could probably get some good sponsors.
If I was a multinational corporation, I would sponsor your butthole waxing video. Yeah. 100%.
No hesitation, just we're there.
No, zero hesitation. I would throw as much money as I could at it.
We started a foundation. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, it made it silky.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, it's like paper almost. Like fluttering paper. I like how the like fishnet texture that just appears in her leg every now and then. Crazy.
I like how muscular she is.
Yeah.
And also Loki looks like Christina Aguilera.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Big fan of silk meat dress. 10 out of 10. Not disgusting. No, this is gonna be disgusting.
What do you mean?
Sushi face.
Yeah, we're gonna run this one. This is the one I got the horrible result from last night.
It looks like Wilford Brimley.
Kinda, doesn't it? Diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
It's the skin texture that's problematic. And I love the seaweed glasses though. They're so cool.
What if though, like for your birthday, all of a sudden like
Somebody
like,
makes this?
yeah, if like we straight up like you have to eat yourself.
I'd eat that. That looks great. Maybe get rid of the eyes.
No, you have to eat the eyeballs.
Oh god.
Birthday boy eats the eyeballs.
It's like Jello candy.
Yeah.
Eh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh dear.
Abort,
yeah,
abort,
no,
abort.
we're gonna see this one through. It's gonna be all melting down the face, I think.
No.
Yeah, terrible. Truly, truly awful. What Alice Van Roth? I know. How dareth you? Listen, they already opened Pandora's box. I just checking it out, man. Oh my god. Just no on all levels. That is a no.
I hate everything about this.
Oh, that is truly, truly terrible. Let's wait for the interpolated one. It'll be nice and smooth.
It's not gonna make it better.
There we go. Look how smooth it is, though. Bloop. Oh, I hate that so much.
It's
Oh,
so bad.
oh, you know what?
Like,
We should do one of these because we get to talk about our friend Dania. Dania made this text embedding using those chemical bending things that she does. You know, the Citrusolve or whatever. Yeah. So I made a bunch of input images with the text embedding, and I've been running them through this, and they make wicked animations.
Worm face is making me want to throw up.
Yeah, let's slide that over a bit, and we'll just wait for that to finish. We'll just push that over there.
I have nightmares, like consistent nightmares of like worm coming out of my skin.
So yeah, let's leave that alone then.
And it's like,
I know it really does look like that, doesn't it? It doesn't look like the sushi anymore. It looks like something has gone horribly wrong in a lab somewhere.
Yeah.
And that thing escaped.
It's infested with parasites because it has no immune system. And I hate everything about it. If it was my child, I would not love it.
Yeah.
I do not have unconditional love in that capacity.
No.
I eat fish, but
not anymore.
If someone like showed me like if you ate fish you'd look like this, I would stop. I would like if someone showed me anything, if they're like, if you smoke you're gonna look like this, I would quit. Yeah. Everything, anything. Like if you eat McDonald's, you look like
no. There we go. Well done.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, this feels like a beverage commercial situation. Yeah. Like a really high-end liquor.
But I mean, to do something like this in Blender, like the with the simulation and physics engine, would take you months.
Yeah,
And with this, you just get all this incredible motion for free.
I know. It's gorgeous. This is a good palette cleanser. Thank you. Love
So
to
let's
thank Dania.
thanks, Dania. I should have Dania on too. She's got some wicked ideas.
Yeah.
If you want to check out that model that I'm talking about, it's Citrasolve Civitai. Yeah, chemical bending. There it is. Yeah, check out Dania. They make fantastic stuff. Look at this. That's what it's that's what it spits out. It's really neat. So you can just basically use that with IP adapters and get this vibe on anything.
Awesome.
Hugh Jackman on fire.
Maybe.
Sweet
Why
baby
not?
rays. All right, let's get some more
Do you need
input.
more pictures?
Always.
Let me find something.
Always more pictures. I'm curious what something with tiles will do. Well, this is tall. We want it to be wide. 576 by 320. Loop. We can all rest easy. Fish face is gone. Oh, I didn't hit enter.
I never want to see warm face again. I'm gonna dream about it tonight and then I'm gonna be so mad at you.
That's fair.
And in my dream, I'll probably be like fucking purrs.
Mm-hmm.
He did
Fuck that
this.
guy. Yeah.
And then I'll wake up. It'll be a whole scenario.
And I'll wake up with a sharp pain in my back because you stuck it in a voodoo doll.
Well, I haven't like met you in person to steal any hair to make a voodoo doll. So
My wife would probably send you some. She wants some retribution.
Here, I'll send you one of the sharp object ladies.
Nice. Yeah. I've done one before. It came out really good.
Send you a couple.
My desktop is just an absolute atrocity.
Ooh, I'll send you a Medusa too. I have some
320 by 576. Go. Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Oh, what's that from?
Input was just do that. It was like a four
Sweet.
banger from Midjourney or something.
Sweet.
Yeah, I like how it's got this like separation in it from the tiles. It's really cool.
I'm just sending you a bunch of my unused like
Cool.
base generations of sexy ladies who are clothed.
I feel like it's going to generate like a wish.com version of it because it doesn't have all the prompt nuance, right? It's just sort of like looking at it and just being like, oh, okay, there's an angry lady with a knife and a colorful dress.
I'm excited to see though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's some cool eyes.
Boom, 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 boom.
There, I sent you a bunch of stuff.
Nice. Let me grab all those real quick. Oh, crap. There we go. And you. And you. And you.
Those like eye ones, maybe like really weird. I was like playing around with I think blotter art,
Oh,
like
yeah.
LSD blotter art. LoRA, maybe? I don't remember how I got those.
That's cool. Oh, wait. Trios. Yeah, there we go. There you are. And we're back. Okay, so now I can go here. Oh, wow. No knife.
It's really dope though.
It's cool how it brings him to
Low
life.
key, yeah, but also she's got that disgusting muscle thing going on.
What do you mean?
Kind of
Everything's
like
fine.
everything's fine. Everything's okay.
Everything's
It kind
cool.
of she kind of has a chameleon quality though. Like
Hmm.
almost like a mermaid skin or something. I like how it kept the smile though.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, I think this one's going to be sick.
Yeah, I was wondering if those like light painting ones would happen with that. I can send more of those too. I have like hella of those.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of AI is running your own work through it and seeing
Mhm.
what comes out. And that's another thing I wanted to touch on. Like, how does that manifest in your process beyond just like image to image? What else do you do to make sure that you're using your own stuff as like the jumping
Um,
point or whatever?
I well, I think a lot about artists that inspire me, and I think a lot about the styles and that I draw. And I use Midjourney sometimes when I may like I mean I've studied art history a lot, so I have like a whole I tend to write like prompts that are very based off of like my verbiage and like art history or my like vocabulary in art history. But sometimes when I'm stuck I'll just do like the image to description in Midjourney to like just get some ideas like how Midjourney at least is thinking about stuff. Um and like I try to like break it down. Oh, that's super sick. That's insanely sick.
It looks so good. Anyway,
Yeah.
go on, go on, go on.
Sorry, I'm like mesmerized by it. I can't even like think. I'm like, what? That is so good. That is like the opposite of worm phase. Like
Yeah,
diametric opposite. Like this and worm face is this whoever this is like arch enemy.
right. They just chase
They
each
like
other
are
around the earth day and night.
around the cosmos
Yeah.
is worm face and this ethereal light being.
Electric lady.
Um yeah. So I think a lot I just try to think about like colors that I use a lot and like just elements of art that I would normally put in like in my traditional stuff. So like the one you just put in, like that's like more of like my collage visual. And like that's pulling off of, you know, like I put in like prompts for like different pop art things, like I'll literally just say collage. And then like what elements I want collaged in it. Um, color palette, I lean heavy on. A lot of times I'm like neon color palette, cyberpunk color palette, vaporwave color palette, like color palette with Lisa Frank, like something, you know, like I kind of just blend all of that together. So when it comes, it's a lot of it is when it just comes to like styling my word prompts. That's dope too.
Yeah.
Not as dope as Sparkle Lady, but um I'm also exploring like how women are depicted in art a lot. And I pull off of periods of time a lot. So like that yellow dress lady, I'm pretty sure has like Victorian something in the prompt. So I'd have to look again. So a lot of that, and then I just like I'll write just like poetry sometimes to get like styles, and then I like when I find one I like reuse it in different prompts. And it's just weird stuff like let me pull up. Sorry, I was trying to block the microphone and
Oh,
then I
no
talked
worries.
into it. Um, let me pull up some that are like really, and a lot of base imagery I actually start in Midjourney because I find it easier sometimes to get into what it is I'm looking for. And I blend images a lot in Midjourney. So it's like I get one and another, and then I blend them, and then I get that, and then I do like a whole bunch of back and forth. I'm like looking through my Midjourney workflow.
That's cool.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get past these like light paintings because that was like a whole journey trying to get that. I use pinup art a
Yeah.
lot, or burlesque is another prompt I use a lot to get like the women, and it also pulls on like that edginess that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Let me look at some really old ones. Okay, so just reading it out loud, like this is like some of the like stuff I got really known for, but it's like abstract vintage glitch neon watercolor drip collage. And then it's what is in the collage, so like flowers, foliage, tree forest, mouse rocks. And then high fashion, Nor, Frank Miller, because I was trying to get that sense of like extreme Nor lighting, but I didn't want it to just completely make like a Frank something that looked completely like Frank Miller. Um yeah, and then like neon watercolor is a common one I use a lot. Um because when I paint actually it's like I literally use neon watercolors. Um
Trying to replicate
so
that in the prompt.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like early versions of Midjourney, it would be tricky to like replicate that, but like later versions, it like really. And a lot of times though, I actually end up going back to in Midjourney. I go back to like version 4 or 5, because there's something about how it does like collaging in that it like I really like the aesthetic, but then I'll like take that and then like prompt more and do image to image and stable diffusion. So but yeah, here's another one. It's like vintage photographs and illustration, pop art, Andy Warhol, Liechtenstein, pop culture graffiti, pixelated, distorted, bright, bold neon, Rolling Stone. This was at a point too. I was using ChatGPT to create prompts. So like
Yeah.
I would have it like do like a grid layout of like, you know, columns of like different aspects. And then I'd be like, generate, you know, 10 rows of filling in each column with like a different random word or whatever. I have it all in GPT how I was doing it. And so like it would be, you know, like it starts with like style and then it's like different things that it's pulling out of. Um so that was one way to like structure the prompt. So it's like even across like different variables that I was putting in, I was still getting fairly consistent results. Because the prompt structure overall was like pretty tight because it was in that like, you know, like um an Excel format essentially. But then I could see more about like when I did it that way, I could just change like since the prompt structure was so rigid at that point in time, it helped teach me like what words did what, you know, by changing a word here or there.
Yeah, like what order? Because they used to
Yeah,
be
what
really like front loaded. Like
yeah,
whatever you had at the front of a prompt used to really like kind of take over everything. That's
yeah,
changed a bit, but yeah, you're
it has.
it's cool how you learn all these little like I don't know.
It's
It's
learning
almost
how to
intuitive. Yeah, you don't.
mhm.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's learning how to communicate with it. I mean, I can
No.
screen share my Midjourney because Midjourney is where I do a lot of like my sketching, is what I like to think.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I
If you want to
take,
walk through your process on Midjourney, that's cool.
I'm
Let
just
me
like
slip you
trying to
over.
think. Let
This
me,
one came out crazy too. By the way, all these have come out insane.
that's super insane.
Yeah, I'll just send you all these in a folder when they're done.
Sweet. I'm trying to
Let's
find,
pull up your
I'm
Discord
lost.
here.
Okay. Share my screen. Oh, uh, I'm trying to figure my hand out. Okay,
Yeah, no worries.
there we go. Okay, let me go back a little bit here.
Ho, ho, ho. Before you do, look at this.
Oh my God.
You know what? With these, I think we should do a collab.
Yeah, we should.
On these. This is crazy.
Like,
Holy
those are
cow.
sick as fuck.
Yeah, I
I'll
love
just
these.
send you. Well, there's actually, so you can see here. I'm, I was trying to do a scorpion because I was trying to do an astrology series, but we should do the astrology series together.
Oh,
I
that'd be
just need to
cool.
get some, yeah, yeah. Because I was like doing like Libra, Virgo, but here, like, oh, we should do the lion, Leo the lion. Yeah, I'm gonna send this to you quick.
I gotta add your thing to
Yeah,
it.
those light ones, I mean, like, because I bring them into Photomosh too,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but they just animate in the best ways all over.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go,
And
let's
then
see
this window
here.
capture.
Trying to get before these light ones. I also like I've that I go back and look through stuff all the time because it is just like I'll lay in bed. That's the reason I use Midjourney to sketch because it's like I can lay in bed and just like when I have an idea pop in, I
Yeah.
just like do stuff. But I definitely like to finish things out in Stable Diffusion because I like the nudity and I feel like there's a little bit more control. Okay, so these are great. Um, I haven't done anything with these yet, but like my art was, so this is like, a lot of times I think about context of like where my art is wanting to be displayed. And so like, they were wanting my art in Rome. And so I was like playing with like, you know, the normal vintage glitch collage for magazine cutout, neon drippy watercolor spray paint. Like that's like in like anything that's like this style, like that's 999 times out of like thousand. It's like it starts with that prompt, and then the
Yeah.
rest is just me like fooling around. So, Roman art. I was thinking about the Trevi Fountain because I visited the Trevi Fountain a long time ago when I was in high school, and the myth around the Trevi Fountain is like if you visit it and throw money into it, you're supposed to like at some point come back to Rome. And I was thinking how my art was going to be in Rome and how I
Mm.
really want to physically go back to Rome. And I'm like, well, if I put Trevi Fountain in it, maybe it will like bring me back to Rome. But then it got this really great sapphic thing going on here. So there's also that.
Yeah.
But also like I like putting a tarot card in it a lot because I'm like mystical and weird. Um, and then this is like more stylization where I just um it all kind of comes together. But like, yeah, I love these ones a lot. And then this is I literally was having to make art for a billboard. So like sometimes I just start off like literally the function of what I need
Yeah.
to do. And I'm like, disruptive feminist server billboard. And it sounds like it helps me when I'm like really stuck. And it's
Absolutely,
like
and
none
it
of these
might
that
it might give you two or three images you can mash together in your head that just put the coalesce the whole thing, right? Like
yeah.
it's like, oh, it's this, and we just use that as our base. And yeah, I
Yeah, like
totally dig that. Yeah,
none of these were like final at all. But it's like this helped get like it helps get me unstuck because people are always like, how do you produce so much art? And I'm like, I just keep doing stuff, but I just don't show the
yeah,
world like
yeah.
everything I do. It's just like this is a lot of just sketching. And it's like when I zoom up, it's like there was something in this that I like saw that like then I look at that and I'm like, okay, and then I like change the prompt from there,
Start to
like
deconstruct how to
somehow.
get that. Yeah,
Yeah, like I don't remember
like the
because it's
paint on
not
her
that.
clothes or something. It's just like, oh, okay, so how do we
Yeah,
replicate that with a different prompt?
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. And like this, I'm also because I'm going to like a lot of these I'm gonna use to like animate in Photomosh. So I'm looking for like certain qualities. Oh, this is a great one that's still sitting. Like I haven't used it yet.
Yeah, that's cool.
Um, yeah, this one I really, really like. It's just like sitting in my folder and I just look at it, I'm like, I really like you. Um, but a lot of it is like I'm going to like bring these into Photomosh and animate them in a certain way. So I'm looking for certain qualities in it that I know are gonna like get picked up by Photomosh and animate cool. So it's like not only am I like, um, okay, this is a good one. We'll start this thread. Because this was like I was trying to get into museum. The work didn't get accepted to it, but it's like can kind of see how it started. So I was just like thinking how someone got mad at me for making butterfly art. So that's how this started.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
sarcastic. I love fuck you art. It's probably my
Yeah.
favorite thing.
And then I'm like, well, this is just basic. Like this, it's cool. Like this is cool. Don't get me wrong. And it probably look real. Let's download this and send it to you because it probably look
Yeah.
really cool animated. Um, but I was like, this is really basic. So I start prompting more of like, okay. And then I was looking up different stylizations and I'm like, I don't really like that, taking, leaving it. And then I start adding my women in. Like I was like, okay, I want it to be like really spiritual feeling. So I was like priestess. And then it like, it goes from there and I just keep honing in more and more. Like this is pretty dope, but I just wasn't quite feeling it. And then it started, yeah, I just keep honing in on an idea. And then I started thinking about a pilgrimage.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like like this one's dope. I just don't know what to do with it yet.
Yeah, that's a
But
whole thing too. Yeah, that like
yeah,
that's a whole vibe right there. I don't know. I know what you mean. You gotta think
yeah,
about it.
like it's dope, but it also like it tells a story to me because I spent time traveling through the desert on my like little spiritual journey, and it's like, the butterflies are transformation. I'm really, I love celestial things, and like this tells a story for me, but it's just like I'm like I don't know what to do with it. And then I started getting needs more, where I started leaning into that, where this one was like, okay, this is what I've you can see, like I'm that one I clung to, and this is actually eventually became the final work.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great.
because I loved the idea of like this hooded figure climbing towards something, this like this ambiguous beam coming down, like you don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah. I love
And then
the cloak too, the way it's sort of
yeah,
like it looks like it's sort of in and out of reality phasing. It looks really
yeah,
cool.
and so I'm trying to find the final piece here. Oh, that Medusa is sick.
Yeah.
That Medusa is absolutely sick.
Yeah. They're all coming out amazing. I'm just gonna keep running them in the background while we chat.
Um, where's this final? Oh, I need to clean up my files. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm right in the same boat. My file uh file management has been very terrible as of late.
Yeah, me too. I created a whole system and then I didn't follow it.
Yeah.
So now it's like even okay, I have to screen share this. So then I have to stop streaming and then I'm gonna share again. Okay. So this was the final piece that came out
Oh
after I
yeah.
ran it through. I honed in on the image that I wanted, and then I animated it in Photomosh. And so Photomosh, I can't really share because it's very temporal, and it's not like you can just I can save presets,
Yeah.
but like individual files, how they're structured, you can't really save that
Hmm.
yet. I kind of want to give them feedback on that. So to actually show like how I animated all that, like I could walk through it. It's just
Yeah.
I don't have the brain power right
Oh, that's
now.
fine. Yeah. Cool.
But I can at least open Photomosh and kind of show it.
Oh,
But
all right. Yeah. Let's do
to
that.
explain, it was like I just wanted it to feel like pulsing, like and playing with that, but then capturing like the glitchiness. And it's like I really love when it gets like this texture and it feels like sparkle. And it's like I literally just vibe in Photomosh for a while. So screen share Photomosh now. I don't know how to just screen share everything. Sorry.
Oh, in Discord, there's so when you share, there's another tab. So there's applications and there's a tab that says screens, and then you just share
Oh,
your screen. And I've clipped
sorry.
out the
There we
bottom
go.
and top of your share, so it won't show your taskbar and your top bar, so you should be okay.
Sweet. Thank you.
Of course.
Um, so here is Photomosh, and it's just let me find something to pull in. So what I'll do, there's two different workflows. So here, let me pull this over here. There's two different workflows I do. So either I'll take a base image like this, pull it in, and then I have some presets here, which I have to go through and correct them for it to work more. But it's like I save the presets to at least like have a base to work off of, and then I know like I have to mask certain things out. So oh crumb. So like I know like what I need to do to make it work. But that's just to explain one workflow quick, and I'll go into that in a second.
Sure.
The other workflow is I generate a bunch of slightly different images, and then or okay, I take an image into Stable Diffusion, and you can see here like I generate a bunch where it's just slight variations.
Yeah.
and then I layer that in a GIF, and then I take that GIF into Photomosh. So the most recent one I did, let me find it, is Frida Kahlo. Not her. Here we go.
Nice.
Oh no, so that's the base GIF.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like I take a whole bunch of like stuff or a whole bunch of like slight varied, and this is a base, which it looks dope in and of itself. Like that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then I take that into Photomosh and then I play with it, and you can see it like takes me a few iterations of playing around to hone in. But like
Yeah.
then I get that stuff. But it takes a second for the GIF to load.
So
I
just for
can
the
kind of go
totally
through
uninitiated, Photomosh is a collection of filters and post-processing tools that are all, you can layer them, you can do audio, you can do MIDI, you can do like sine waves and stuff with all the
yeah.
animation controls. So it basically gives you this thing where you can layer all your effects and control them all however you like, and it does it all in real time, and then you hit go and it just prints it out to a video and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep going. I just wanted to give everybody an idea of what Photomosh is,
No,
because
it's fine.
it's basically just like an app. You download it and you've got this sort of real time effects suite to play with, and it's great for sweetening up stuff you've done, or just playing with it. Even as a generator can make cool stuff. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, like okay, so this is default. It's just like pulling the GIF in. But then I have, you can see here like a bunch of presets that I've done. So for this style, I would go with usually, even though that was really cool what we just did, the silhouette style, or no, reference, like that's pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. I would do usually the neon glow halftone, which is a preset, or the light. The difference is one has glow in it and the other doesn't. And so what it does when you have a preset is it just saves like whatever presets you had of the effect and the order that they're in, because if you change the order, it changes how
The
everything
layer.
interacts.
Yeah.
So the order is really important, and it saves all the settings. So which, the settings work okay. Okay, that's freaking sick too, what you just generated.
I know, they're all amazing.
The settings are like generally like this is good, but this is like for me, it's like I really like to hone in on a certain feeling. So I would like I'll spend like an hour or two on, if not longer, it can be days sometimes. I'll leave a piece up in here and I'm just like tweaking things by like point whatever to like hone in on like what it is I want.
Yeah.
Um so it really depends on the piece. But like this neon glow half tone, so like let's say I like screw everything up. Oh, I hate it. I don't know how to fix it. I can revert the preset as long as I don't save it, and then it brings it back to that. Um, but like this neon glow halftone, like these settings look really simple, but that's a result of like hours and hours and hours of me like tweaking things and trial and error to try to get like different stuff. And then it's like when I get it to a point where I'm like, okay, this is as close as I can save it that it will work for a lot of different things. Then I save a preset. And then like sometimes it's like this one, it's like light halftone to glow. Like the difference isn't that much, but to me it's a lot.
Yeah, and
And
you know what the difference is. When
I
the
know what
glow
the
hits
difference
before
is.
this,
Yeah,
you get to understand what that means, and how
yeah,
it affects the final result. But it's crazy when you
exactly.
open this program. It's just every effect is just in a giant list.
Yeah,
You gotta go in and
this is
like,
default.
yeah. So it's great that your presets have like just the 6 things that you actually use. It's a great
Yeah,
way to
and
like
then
simplify workflows and make your brain not go in a million tangents.
yeah, definitely. And I know um I've been working in this for years now, and I know what every single one of these little guys do. And I know, like, a lot of times when I bring something in, I have like a vague idea of like this. Um, we'll go through my presets. This is an
Mm-hmm.
experiment. It's just as well. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's just like experimenting with like different glitch style.
Cool.
Um, yep. But I have an idea of like what I want. It's just getting there is a chaotic journey. Um, so this is another style I'm very well known for, and it's like pixel glitch, which this gets a little bit more complex. Because I'm using like a Luma mesh with like pixelization and masking. Which there isn't any masks loaded, which is why it looks like crazy like this, but I can, let's see, let's do it with one. Let me use an example of a still. Anyway, so even me, like I've been thinking about doing Photomosh tutorials,
Mm-hmm.
but like how I use it is so chaotic already. I'm like, I don't know if anyone can follow along with like,
That's why I have this channel. I
yeah.
everyone was like, where's the tutorial? I'm like, I'm not making a tutorial. I'm sorry. That's somebody else's job. You can watch me play with ComfyUI for 3 hours if you want. You'll probably get what you need out of that. But yeah,
Yeah, at
it's
least
the idea of making condensed tutorials is just like, nah, that's not how my brain operates.
it's not well because this is kind of like it's very much like a synth in a way.
Yeah, it's a big modular
And
synth.
it's like I listen to music when I'm working in it, so a lot of like the loops are like two different songs. Like here we go. And let's see, what am I masking here? Normal. Okay, I know what's going on because this should have an animated thing at the base. And so like it's a very like I mean like I could stream me like the music I'm listening to and like I don't know, it could be a thing. It's just like I I just get in a zone and it's like I'm just tweaking buttons and listening to music, you
Yeah,
know. That's about it. Here we go. But yeah. And then I would like this would start a whole rabbit hole and then I may add more effects and layering and um start playing around with like how it changes when I like change the order because it's like this is a very for my baby brain, so it's like it's very similar to what's going on in Comfy UI. It's just you have like a more complex pipeline. Like in my
yeah.
baby brain,
This is
Photomosh
all
makes
the
sense.
stuff hidden. This is all the nodes hidden with all the settings
Yeah,
exposed. That's if that
yeah,
we had that layer in Comfy UI, like that's what I'm saying about artists being able to just like they'd be able to smash stuff together because you don't have to think about the wires, right? Like
yeah.
just move them
Like
up and down.
the
It
wire
just makes sense.
the wire is linear in this. It's like you
Yeah, it
start at the
goes
top and
down.
it goes
Yeah.
down. And that's the wire and how so it's like the mask is only on like what's above it,
Yeah.
but it also makes it hard because it's like if you want to mask multiple things, sometimes I create masks just for stuff I'm doing, sometimes I just use the image and let it like kind of like do some weird stuff with that.
Hmm.
But for me, it like makes sense because it's like one long thing, and then it's kind of infinite because I can just keep adding if I want to, and keep adding, and like keep seeing how like all the different effects interplay with each other. I'm trying like this is a pretty complex one. I'm trying to think of that's pretty nice. On my laptop, which I spent most of my time, because that's the other thing. So Photomosh works on like any computer. And I was traveling around forever. and just working on my laptop, and this is pretty sick actually. So like if I like something, I just export it quick. Like
Hmm.
that's saving is you just export.
Yeah,
Um
it's great.
yeah. Um so but Photomosh worked on my laptop, which is part of the reason I used it so much because I wanted to like play around with these different like finishing effects and like video stuff, but like I didn't have like a top like robust like desktop because I was traveling everywhere. And I'm also about like software being accessible for people because it's like, I've climbed my way out of poverty, and I want other people to be able to. And it's like if you can just have a cheap laptop and access to Midjourney and run Photomosh, it's like you have an infinite ability to like just going through my presets. We just saw like that's just that's the small scope of my presets on this computer, and then on my laptop I have like a shit ton of presets because
Hmm.
that's where I've worked the most. But even in that, it's just like there's so many ways to like do different things with this, all off of the same one base image.
Have you ever asked for a preset node or like a preset stack so that you could just literally stack presets as layers?
I should.
That would be
I
a
feel
cool
like,
way to like, because then you could
yeah,
combine the things you're doing.
that would, ooh, I get what you mean.
Hmm.
So then it's like
It
grouping
would
them
probably
in a
be pretty
way.
hard on the computer if you start stacking stuff with lots of stuff in it, but if you kept it sane, I think you could do some cool stuff. By the
Yeah,
way, the generation we made here is one double torso situation.
love double torso. Then sometimes exporting it can be, so I check it, and that's still dope.
Yeah. It's too bad Twitter just eats anything with like detail.
Yeah. I always forget. I try to export everything as GIF from here because it gets like better quality. And then to get into more, you can actually like, so like in here, if you want to animate it more, you can put it on loops, and you can actually MIDI input.
Yeah.
So like if you do your own music and you do like, you have like, this is why I say it's a lot like a synth, because you literally can like control the effect with audio
Or
then with
knobs.
MIDI input.
Like you can
Yeah,
have a bank of knobs and faders and plug and set everything up.
yeah,
So then you're just doing it with your hands
exactly.
instead.
But you can also like there is a way to do audio too, and I totally forget.
It's audio. It's
Um,
like instead of MIDI, it's just audio.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have friends who do that stuff. Vampy is really into the MIDI and audio stuff. It's just like I haven't gone there yet.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, but yeah, there's like a strong community of us who use it. And then Photomosh goes back to trash art, like I was talking about earlier, because the Toter was put through Photomosh really quick, and that was the argument of why it was low effort art.
Hmm.
I'm gonna stop screen sharing. So just like the theoretical around it. And when I found that out, I was like, well, yeah, like you can like because so okay, let me screen share again. Sorry.
No worries.
I'm so sorry.
Not at all.
Um, so the argument was it wasn't real art because it has this mosh button here.
Yeah, and you
So
can randomize
like you can just
the
randomly click
settings.
that
Yeah.
and it will do stuff. And so people were like, "Oh, you just clicked one button and it did the thing." To
It's like, no, I
wrong.
clicked it 300 times until it did the thing, actually.
Yeah. And it's like I use the mosh button, but I use it to kind of just like it's again like when I'm in Midjourney and I don't have an idea and I'm
Yeah, it's
literally
a
like
starting point. It's like using a
feminist art for a
preset on a
framework.
synth.
Yeah,
It's like that tune that Clint Eastwood by Gorillaz, where it's like the
yeah,
preset on the Casio. Like, who cares?
exactly.
Is that's not that
Exactly.
invalidates that as a song? I don't think so.
And it's like, okay, so what, I hit Mosh a few times and it made this. So what if I export that and then I say that's art? You know?
Hmm.
Like it gets into like that whole debate of like when does art become art? And
Yeah.
so I learned Rob went through all of that. And so there's the two core parts of the toter and then Photomosh. And the toter, I appreciate it as like a flag, as a meme, as a symbol. But when I found out about that Photomosh was part of the issue, that's when I really started learning how to do Photomosh a few years ago, like three
Yeah.
years ago. And then incorporating that, because then I saw the same arguments happening with AI, that AI isn't real art either.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, well, what if I use Photomosh, which is not real art, and AI, which is not real art? And then I start banging out art that they can't argue isn't real art.
Yeah.
Like that was like my whole like
Art that's being exhibited internationally.
art that's been in Sotheby's,
Yep.
art that's been in TED Talks,
Hmm.
art that's been like it's like people are working on trying to get it into museums. Like not that anything like that is solid yet, but it's like art that has literally been around the world that sells for thousands of dollars now. And it's like to me that is like my way of saying fuck you, like to anyone who down talks like any software, any process being used, because it's like anytime now someone says something isn't real art because of something being used, it immediately gets my attention
Oh yeah.
of like, okay, how can I make this art now?
Yep.
Because once I make it art, it opens, like anyone can make it art. That's, I'm not saying like I'm this special person that can only make it art. Like anyone can make it art. But I have my degree. I have a certain amount of accomplishments and accolades that I'm getting to the point, and I have like enough esteem amongst like art people that like when I put my hands on something, it it's art. You know, like it's harder to argue with it in their mind because I have all the like fucking little things that they care about filled out, all the
Hmm.
boxes checked. And but I'm thinking about it of like beyond that, it's like anyone can do that, but like I'm gonna put my foot down and say no, this is art, because I want to make sure other people have the same opportunity to come up that I did. Because like if it wasn't for open source software, if it wasn't for accessible software, I would have never been able to learn the digital stuff I did because I didn't have money. Like I had like my first computer, I literally traded weed to a computer nerd to build me this Frankenstein of a tower when I was like
Hmm.
13. Like I didn't have like
Wheeling and dealing, man.
yeah, like and so and then like I was trying to find like, I bootlegged my software then. Oh I'm sorry if the FBI gets me now, but it's like I
Listen,
was
that's how like I would say, maybe half or more of
yeah,
the tech people that you know now, we just had to pirate when we were kids. Like
yeah,
nobody's affording
totally.
these software when we were kids. It's not a not.
And
We had to
how
learn
else
it,
are
right? What are you
how
gonna do?
else are
You
you
gotta
supposed
learn
to
it.
learn it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, to me, it's like, I know how to do, like, I took the time to learn how to paint like Picasso. I took the time to learn Photoshop like a master. I learned like the softwares I'm supposed to know. I've learned the processes. I've learned how to do that. But to me, like, I'm not as interested in that. I'm more interested in pushing on like in the fine art world, like the concept of what is art, and then also busting that shit down of like you don't have to have that stuff to like get ahead. You don't have to, you can just like, I mean, I am also a proponent of you learn the rules to break the rules, like definitely. But it's just like I remember so many times feeling like I wasn't a real artist because I didn't understand like the latest thing in Blender, or I wasn't like chasing the newest software or whatever. And like I always felt like as a digital artist, maybe invalidated, not always, but there was a lot of moments like I felt like nothing I could do was good enough.
Yeah.
And I
That's
hate
common
that
though.
feeling.
Everyone, I
It
feel that way
is.
too. There's too much to learn, right? There's just too much, just too
Yeah.
much, just too much, just too
And
much.
so there's like a therapeutic and meditative quality for me to embrace like stuff like Wombo or Photomosh, where it's like it's really easy to use actually. And I'm not chasing that I'm using the best technology. I'm more chasing that um the concepts and like what it is that does make art and not trying to down talk the high tech stuff either because I do get into that too a lot.
It's
It's
all
just like
tools,
that's
right? It's
it's
just
all
tools.
tools,
Yeah.
all tools.
And laughing at
It's
other
just
people's tools or trying to shut something down based on what they use is crazy because, you know.
it is. It's like I don't look at. I mean, sometimes I make fun of Cinema 4D people. Sorry, like it's just me. Like it's like what is. It's not telling me anything. You just have a pretty animation. Like sometimes, that's my criticism. On their end, they're like, you just are making shit and hold like it's being held together by a story. Like you have no technical skill.
Yeah.
So it's like the polar opposite arguments, but there is that middle ground that most people live in. I just tend to be on one extreme because I feel like I need to equalize some of the ego out on the other end.
But I would argue
Um,
that you are doing things on the same technical level just with the tools that you're using. Like
yeah,
I don't think one's like more academically. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe it is. Maybe it's more
I think
like
more
book
commercially
learning. Maybe,
viable.
yeah. And when things get really intense, and technical, that's being a technical artist, which is different than being an artist.
Yeah.
They're all shades of the same thing, but
I think it's
I think it's all
also
relative to the tools you use, really.
I think it's all also like it's corporate art versus art like as an artist just doing art that I want to do.
Yeah.
I think that's the major conflict that I always come into because I've tried to do art with corporations and I'm horrible at listening to other people and I can't help it. Like it's not that I'm a bad artist, I'm just bad at listening to people when
Yeah.
it comes to that stuff.
I have the same
And
thing. Yeah.
yeah, and I really I think though that independence and willingness to experiment should be celebrated and people should be able to make a living doing that. And because I think that's how we innovate and move forward and not having necessarily corporate control over these creative tools as much. But I mean that starts getting into idealization of just the world because we still have to work and make money and
Yeah.
feed families and stuff like that. But I don't have a family to worry about. I just am risking my own ass doing this stuff. So that's why I kind of do it
Just
because
you and
it's
your
like,
agent.
yeah, me and my dog, as long as I have food for her, I know I'm doing okay. Like
Yeah.
I'll skip a meal here or there, but not that I have, but like,
Well,
you know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
yeah, but I mean, you've been very successful, and it's been awesome to watch.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
not everyone like it's a tough it's a tough grind out there. But like that's another thing I wanted to mention is like being good at art is not being good at functioning as an artist that
Yeah.
makes money. It's like
Yep.
maybe 10% of the battle. The rest of it is all the skills that you are like really good at, and like that I think that just requires a bit of like acknowledgement because like you're one of the best people I've ever met at navigating what it means to be an artist and how you actually progress your career as an artist, because a
Yeah.
lot of people like they'll just get to a certain area, stay there for a bit, things get a little hard, and then they peter off to something else because it's like
It's
the
hard.
stuff I was selling
Yeah.
isn't selling anymore, or the it never sold, or I didn't, I just, and then other people think it's like, oh, you have to know the right people. But yes, but you have to put yourself in situations where you actually meet those people, right? You can't be mad
Yeah.
that you're not getting any opportunities if you don't go out for opportunities. So,
I mean, that's part
it's
of
awesome.
why why I traveled to Paris. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
like, I mean, at the end of the trip, I had one gallerist cooking me and two other gallerists dinner. And I'm like, in his house, his mom's huge estate. And it's like, I'm not rich yet at all. I just like make enough to pay my bills and then I get travel money sometimes. You know what I mean? And I've been able to like slowly upgrade my equipment. Like I'm not a bajillionaire or
Yeah,
I'm not, I
yeah.
haven't sold, but I just had that moment. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I've done it. Like, I mean, like
Making art and getting
how
paid.
many artists can be like, I'm sitting in an estate with like four gallerists around me
Mhm.
and one of them cooking me food. Like that doesn't happen very often. And
No.
it's a grind. And a lot of it is learning how to communicate who you are authentically. So that gets back to like understanding your identity. Um, and how to translate that to others because I think one thing I see a lot is people are like artists are like I hate talking about myself and it's like no that is being an artist
Yeah.
is like you can talk about different things in your work but you still are talking about yourself because we are everything and
And
that's
everything
it
you make is you. It's
and
so
everything
if
you make is you
yeah, you have to be
and
able
if you
to
can't
not eloquently, but at least succinctly boil that down to something that you can get out in 30 to 45 seconds.
yeah and then if I can't get it out in that time play the part of just being enigmatic and hope people come to me.
Yeah.
But like that's in person. Online, you can't be like that. Like online, we have to constantly be putting ourselves out there. And just because something doesn't work now when it comes to like getting attention or like selling work, it doesn't mean it's not going to work in the future. And it also doesn't mean just stagnate. And it's like you always it's just it's a grind and like learning how to do it and like managing it all, but also like keeping a sense of self and not crumbling. I mean, I cry a lot. I fucking fall apart a lot,
Hmm.
but I'm also honest about that. Which I think makes me endearing to a lot of people too, because I just am like, done with my daily cry because this isn't like because I'm also dealing with just being a human on top of being an artist, on top of being like everything else. And it's like on top of like having to take care of a meat bag and like all the like complex chemicals that go on up here, being like half insane, mostly insane. So yeah, I mean the biggest is just like being authentic to yourself in each moment and then figuring out who you are and then how that translates to everything else and then like eventually just learning to tell everyone to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, for
that's really
sure.
when everything started coming together for me.
That's awesome.
Really. It's just like, but also staying true to the people who's like you, for example. Like always like I talk about you all the time when I'm like out doing stuff. And this isn't just an ego stroke, it's like you've taught me so much. Like I would be an asshole to not like shout you out. And I know artists who do that, who they become successful and then they don't. I'm not gonna name names right now,
Yeah, yeah. No,
but
I mean, but also,
but
yeah,
they
yeah. It's
they
all good.
become hyper successful
Yeah,
and they like pink too. And then they don't shout out the people who taught them the
yeah,
things. When it's a simple shout out, it's a simple name drop. It's just as much of a name drop as being like, oh, I was in Sotheby's. Oh, my art's going to be in the Louvre.
yeah.
You know who I'm subcontexting.
Eh,
But like,
eh,
it's
eh.
like, it's a simple thing of just like, Purrs helped me. Like, I wouldn't be what I am without Purrs. And like,
What's that
keeping
thing of like
that
running up the building and then kicking the ladder off, right? Like,
yeah, like
it's
fuck that.
crazy because other people can get up that ladder too if you just let them.
And they're not going to kick you off. They're going to
No.
help you stay up there because you helped them up there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I mean that gets into a whole bunch of other stuff, but it's like success isn't just stepping, and that's why like I've been very adamant like success isn't just me stepping on people to get ahead. And I know like I'd probably be 100 times more successful if I just threw a bunch of people under the bus, but I just won't do it. And I still make do, and I just have resolved that in the end, my choices will pan out better than other people's choices because I'm playing a longer game. I'm playing a legacy game.
Yeah.
I'm not playing a get rich quick game.
Plus, it feels good to recommend people for things. Like I like
Yeah.
that. It feels better than being insular and keeping everything to
Well,
yourself
what am I
anyway.
gonna?
So
I'm already afraid of being super successful and then ending up in like a giant house alone.
right, the
Yeah,
lonely millionaire thing. Yeah,
because
yeah,
I know a lot of millionaires like that. I've
yeah,
gotten to know people like that, and that's like my biggest fear in life is like I would rather be poor surrounded by friends than that
yeah.
100%. 100%. So I navigate thinking like that. And
Mhm.
I think people sometimes are like, damn, this bitch is crazy. But it is what it is.
Hey,
So
man. I mean, what do they say is what's seen as like confident and leadership in men is seen as like bitchy and like
yeah.
and domineering from a woman. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Don't throw your
it's
friends
just
under the
people,
bus.
right? There's just people. Like, yeah, fuck people.
But fuck fuck them all, but don't
Yeah,
throw your friends under the bus.
no, it's yeah, definitely
Don't
not.
directly don't do it. Just don't do it. Because then in the end, karma's gonna get you.
Oh yeah. Right on.
Anyway,
Well, I've had you here for 3.5
sorry.
hours, so
Yeah,
maybe we should wrap it up. And that's a good note to end on. Um, I want to thank you for
I'm
coming and hanging out and being present and talking and telling everybody about your story and your stuff and all the things and all this workflow has been really fun. We made a lot of really cool stuff tonight.
I'm really excited for those light ones. I'm gonna like send them to me and I'll play around with them, or we'll just mint them as is
Yeah, they
because they're
look really
dope.
cool.
They're super dope.
Yeah, they look really good. They came
Um,
out great.
but thank you for having me on here, and
Of
I'm glad
course.
I'll
Yeah.
gladly come back anytime. And
Yeah, we'll make
I
this a
like
more
that.
regular thing. This has been really fun. Even just
I
for
really
hanging out and
like,
making stuff. It's cool. I like it.
yeah. And then I can have more stuff. I mean, I just got off the plane last night,
Yeah,
so and I
absolutely.
like had my computer unplugged. I literally plugged it in 45 minutes before we started live streaming. So, and I had like all my stuff. Like I'm so paranoid. This is just safe. Shows how paranoid you get. When I leave the apartment for an extended amount of time, I'm afraid someone's gonna break in. So
Yeah.
I literally like 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 I like wipe not wipe like files, but I wipe all my like um logins and all like
Oh
everything
yeah.
on my
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
just so like just in case
If
someone
somebody
breaks in
snags
and
your
steals.
laptop or something, yeah, then they've got
Yeah, like when
easy
I'm out
peasy
of
access to
town.
all your stuff. I feel that, yeah.
And so I forgot about all that. And then I'm like, oh shit, I have to like do this live
Find
stream. And
my
I'm literally,
passwords.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, where's it? I'm like, oh my God.
I
I
know.
have
I
to
hate
like
that.
completely set my computer up. But next time I'll like have more things set up. So,
Oh, for sure.
but
Yeah, no, that was
I
great.
like,
It was really nice to see the insight into your Midjourney prompting and how you come up with ideas too. I never really talk about that because I'm always more interested in the like mechanicals of the diffusion. So that's really cool to see
mhm.
your sort of like the
Yeah,
way that you navigate like prompting from pure text. It's cool.
yeah, because that's how my brain, I mean, I'm also like, I like to think of myself as a little bit of a writer.
Hmm.
So I think that's just how my brain works and understanding how to communicate with AI is text to image mostly. But then it helps me with Stable Diffusion to pull the Midjourney stuff over. And do like more prompting on top of like image to image,
Yeah,
and getting more, and then going further and taking that and either into Photomosh or EmProps.
that's
So
another thing I always try to impart is that none of us are using one tool.
no,
Like this stuff is always just stacks and stacks of like, oh, you know, I made this. I'm gonna try and put it in this like, and especially if you've already been making art for years, you have
yeah,
so much stuff you can take and just like it's like samples and loops for a musician. You can
exactly.
dig through your own stuff for samples and use them and remix them. like one thing I like to do is train LoRa's on specific collections of
which
work. And it's
is
like, then you can
yeah.
explore that LoRa in like animation. You can explore it with text
I've
prompts. Yeah,
I've
it's so fun.
finally pulled out my archival hard drives and have
Oh,
them plugged
cool.
in.
Yeah, we'll have to train
And
up
so
some
that
LoRa's of your stuff so you
yeah,
can
like
start
my
exploring.
college work, it'd be kind
Neat.
of cool to do different periods. So yeah, yeah. No, this has been great though. I'm
Yeah.
gonna lose my voice soon, but
Yeah,
I hope we can hang out more. And I
definitely.
like the idea we were talking about DMs and doing a not safe for work one on a different
On
streaming.
Kick. Yeah.
Not that we're gonna get naked,
No,
but
but
that
we're
will
going to
make
make nakeds.
yeah, we're gonna make some nudies.
Make some
So
nudes. Yeah, maybe
yeah,
we'll launch a little fun time NSFW stream on Kick. We'll see
yeah,
it, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your eyes peeled for that.
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll
Maybe.
see. But I like the idea.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to not be scared to make a boob.
Yeah,
You
and get
know,
demonetized.
yeah. All right, on that, especially on that note,
Okay.
let's wrap it up. Thanks everybody. Thanks for coming out. If you want to support what we do here, hit up the Patreon. If you want to come by the Discord, do it anyway. We're just chilling there, making stuff. And if you got questions, somebody will be able to answer you. If you don't have one of the workflows, they're all there, most of them anyway. If it's not, it's because I haven't done it yet, and I probably won't by now. So what's there is there, and go play with it. There's some mask packs there too. We didn't do any mask animation masks tonight, but maybe next time I have Empress on, we'll do some masking because she does a lot of masking with Photomosh. So I can show her how we do masking with AnimateDiff, and that might be a fun stream. So we'll set that up.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Let's
thank
do it.
you. Congratulations on all your success, and we'll see everybody. I want to say Monday, but I might stream on the weekend. We'll see. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you, Empress. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.